Welcome, CNET, friends and family. You guys, you know why you're all here today. We are here for Apple's event. It's coming out to us from Cupertino, and of course, we bring the best, the biggest, the brightest, the A-team here at CNET, the Big Red Machine. Miss Mollywood in the house.
Guys, cheers.
Cheers.
I just want to say cheers to you,
right.
Brian Tong, to Donald Bell, to Stephen Beecham, for yet another Apple event.
We're all here in one piece.
And I'm just thinking that if champagne is on the table as a possible iPhone color,
iPhone gold,
it should be in the room.
then mimosas are on the table for our live coverage.
So if you're at home and you need something to drink, like orange juice for you under 21.
Orange juice.
Is it 21?
Sparkling
I don't even know
apple
what the
cider,
age limit
maybe.
is these days. But you guys, thanks so much for coming out. Donald Bell here in the house as well, and running the show, Mr. Stephen Beecham.
Good morning.
Stephen Beecham.
If you don't understand what this guy does behind the scenes, he has 8 arms, literally.
At least.
Octo Stephen.
Yes.
So you guys, we're all here. It's another Apple event. A lot of people are, whether there's leaks or not, I think there's always curiosity and some excitement about what might be going on with Apple. And we wanted to kind of set the scene. Obviously, this we feel, and all signs point to this being typically a iPhone event. This is what they've done annually in the September time period, focusing on a rumored iPhone 5S that pretty much almost every spec known to man might have been leaked out about it already.
Yeah, secrets are over. It seems like in the Apple age. I mean, maybe they're not, right? Because now I think everybody, all the lack of secrets seems to do is fuel the hope that there is a big secret left. Like maybe there's one more thing.
What could it be?
But yeah, so far we seem to know everything there is to know about both the iPhone 5S and the rumored iPhone 5C.
The cheaper version, the
iPhone
plastic
5 cheap,
model.
right?
iPhone 5 cheap.
Yep,
Yeah.
iPhone
Probably
5
gonna
cheap.
get that one.
Which I do have to question the use of the word C. That's
The letter C, like what does it really stand for? Color.
It's a little on the nose. if you mean the cheap one.
Also, we're going to
We'll
expect to see possibly more features in iOS 7. What else will they drop? The big rumor that's surfacing right now is the fact that, some marketing material surfaced, and it showed off that the rumored fingerprint feature, confirmed by a variety of sources, will be in the new iPhone 5S, confirmed to be called, or rumored to be confirmed to be called, the Touch ID. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays in. We kind of talked about this last week at Samsung's event. But for you guys here, fingerprint sensing technology, what does it mean for you? Good, bad, down the road? How do you guys feel about that? I mean, just your raw takes.
I think it adds a level of security for people who are really looking for a more secure device. I think for enterprise or for any kind of situation where that's a big deal, it could be a very useful feature. For anyone living in cold weather who has a glove on and doesn't want to remove their glove or can't. I mean, it's not going to be useful for everybody, but if it's an extra thing to have, I don't think it's a drawback.
Yeah.
Right.
Molly?
As an extra, I think it's great, and I think it would be a potentially good push into that kind of into the hearts of the enterprise folks, because it's a nice security feature. I mean, I will tell you that, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, I had a ThinkPad that had a fingerprint sensor to unlock, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Is it a reason to buy a new phone over some other offering? No, right? Like at the end of the day, the fingerprint sensor is going to be cool, but iOS 7 and any other improvements are going to be the thing that sells this. And honestly, I want to know what the deal is with the iPhone 5C, because I think that has real potential to be a huge seller if it's available in the U.S. and it's a
Globally.
$49 and
Or
$99
to
phone.
completely dilute their brand and make them the laughing stock of the industry.
Well, there's that. There's that.
So, guys, we will touch upon more. Right now, we just want to take you to an exterior shot. We have the live shot. We showed it to you a few moments ago outside of Apple's campus. They are opening the doors, so media and press members, our own team, we have Josh Lowenson, Scott Stein, and one of our new hires, Mr. Tim Stevens. He'll be talking to us later about what's happening inside. But there you go. That's the outside of Apple's campus. That's on campus in Cupertino. Not last year, but I guess the iPhone 4S announcement, they also did it at Apple's Cupertino campus, and at the time, it was viewed as a little bit of a disappointment because people were hoping that there would be something more. In that room, it's a smaller auditorium, so it's probably going to be a little more tame. And sometimes that might lead to people believing that there may not be a big thing being announced here. And if we do see an October announcement later on, which they've typically done with iPads and maybe Macs, we might see that there. But before we keep on going, I do want to tell you guys, we forgot to, tell you this in the beginning, that this is a show that we want you guys to really be involved in and interacting with us. So we have our phone lines. We've got people that are veterans of the game that already know the phone line to call. We have 4 lines filled up already. The number to call is 1-888 900 CNET. That's 2638 for the last 4 digits. If you guys want to talk about what you expect to see, we want to hear what you guys think about it, what you don't want to see. Maybe are you guys still even feeling this iWatch? Do you even think that an iWatch might be coming?
No way.
Could it be crazy like that? Would I replace the bling with an iWatch? I don't know.
I wore my bling, but I brought my Pebble.
And you also made it match its
your
matching
Pebble.
tone. We've got some fashion is your passion. Fashion is your passion.
Right. I do not mess around, you guys.
Also, you guys will be interacting constantly throughout the show. If you use the hashtag CNET Live, we'll be able to see what you guys say, what you're thinking about. So the first question we want to throw out is really, what is the product that you're most excited to see here at the keynote? So hashtag CNET Live is what you'll go to. But before we jump around a little, I did want to kind of jump back on the fingerprint sensor.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this during the Samsung event. I hate to go back to it, but for people that are like, you're such a broken record, I'm like, no, I'm not. But I really feel like right now, the fingerprint sensor specifically, it's going to be used for security. But I think it's more about the behavior of getting used to scanning your finger. It's kind of to unlock a feature, because one thing that we've talked about is where can a cell phone go is really, for me, is the company that makes the cell phone a true wallet is going to be able to take that next step.
Yes.
And we've seen it in Japan, 2005, okay? They've been using cell phones flawlessly like wallets. All you do is scan your fingerprint to unlock that feature. So people are wondering, what if they steal your phone? You have to have that fingerprint sensor. And really, this whole mobile payment thing has not worked itself out. We have, Google Wallet. It didn't work very well. We have, Square getting in there, PayPal getting in there. What's that? Is it called TouchPay? That's associated with your credit cards, where you can just kind of touch them on a certain registers.
I think it is called TouchPay or TapPay or
something like that. But no one's really figured that out. There's a lot of competing standards out there, and Apple does have that mass market appeal. If somehow you want to get people used to that behavior, right? Touching and using it as a wallet. It's hard. It's a hard one.
And what Apple will have to do, because I agree, I mean, the fingerprint reader is an interesting thing that would appeal to enterprise, but it enables some awesome technology like mobile payments, which we are far behind on. However, Apple has to be able to articulate the fact that we need that.
Yeah.
Because the American market is so unused to it, you don't have a lot of people in this market who are clamoring for it, right? They're sort of standing around saying, well, like, I don't know, I have my credit card, it works fine.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm like, it doesn't seem like a problem. Like, it doesn't seem like something that needs fixing from my point of view. The shaving those extra seconds off of my life of using my phone as my card instead of my card as my card.
Well, we're halfway there. We got those cases that are iPhone cases that you fit your credit card in.
I know, and I love those.
There.
I do love those, and I admit, I want the mobile payments, right?
Too.
I am not one of the people who needs to be convinced like this, unlike Donald the Neo-Amish, because he has to be
Come
convinced
on.
of everything that's new and cool, because he doesn't actually like technology at all.
That's why I'm here.
He's just here to be like, nah. I don't know.
I can be impressed.
Is it pink, though?
Is what pink?
He wants to know if the phone is pink. He'll be like, I don't know if I need all that stuff, but can I have a pink one?
Yeah. I don't know.
So let's take a couple calls, because this will transition to a lot of different topics. We have LaRon from Baltimore calling in. And before we get to you, one quick thing. Everyone that calls, we need you to turn down your volume once we take your call. Don't talk through us to the computer, because there's this huge delay. I'm going to hang up on you if you do that. I'm not even messing around. LaRon, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
See, LaRon knows what's up.
He knows
Flawless.
what's up.
He's like, I better turn that down.
No echoes.
No. If he was on before we even started, Laurent is a pro.
He was legit.
Those speakers were off all along.
Yeah. All right, LaRon, coming to us from Baltimore. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
How your Ravens doing? Oh. Did I go
Really?
there?
You're going to start there?
I'm messing with you, LaRon. What's up? What did you want to call us to talk about?
I wanted to ask y'all about, when do iOS 7, do that come out right after this keynote, or is it later on in the year or something?
Yeah, you know what? It'll be interesting, because iOS 7 has been gone through 6 betas now. So, I mean, I've been using it from the start, and it's pretty much ready to roll. Last year, if you look at last year's queue, they released iOS 6 2 days before they released the new iPhone 5. So if you use that as some sort of reference, right, the rumors are that the iPhone will be available for sale on September the 20th. That's a Friday. AT&T, T-Mobile, even Apple employees, they've had a blackout period that's been established so that they can't leave work, which points us to that's when they're going to drop the phone. So I've got to imagine, I mean, yeah, sure, I can't give you a specific date, but somewhere between the 10th and the 20th, maybe before the next iPhone comes out, we'll see iOS 7 get actually released to the public.
And
I'm
this is-
sure that it will come out with the new phone.
Yeah, and it's totally Apple's strategy to string these things out too, where instead of just getting one major focus of attention on this announcement, if they can get another one next week when they actually come out with iOS 7 and get everyone excited about Apple, and then 2 weeks later they come out with the phone and get everyone excited about Apple, that's their MO.
I want to be here in 2 more weeks just so I see your beautiful faces.
Oh, you devil.
Specifically
no, you know
Steven's.
what? But Laurent, to answer your question, I actually do think I have a prediction
All right.
I like this.
All right.
because I have an Apple store in my neighborhood, and my mom went there yesterday to look for a new computer, and it is closed for renovations, and it's reopening on September 14th,
And that's also a Friday, right?
which is also a Friday.
Okay.
But maybe that's
Okay.
just when they
Okay.
debut the new Apple Store design.
Donald is such a buzzkill.
just saying.
Donald,
Let Molly have
you
her,
know what?
her time
if
in the
they're-
sun.
Have some more
If
mimosas,
they're doubling
Donald.
down on secrecy, that would be such a play to just announce it on the front of every one of their Apple stores.
I will.
Whatever.
I will, for
Drink
the
up.
record,
All
though.
right.
I will, for the record, give Molly credit because if you remember at last keynote, out of the blue, no one even saw it coming, and Molly's like, "I want to see a new Mac Pro." Guess what we saw? I remember that
A new Mac Pro.
we
Right.
saw a tease of the Mac Pro. So I'm gonna give her some love there.
Thanks, babe. Take it to the bank.
All right, thanks for calling in, Laurent. We appreciate it, man.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, let's go to Mo in the NYC. What's up, Mo?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Mo? How you doing?
Hello?
We're here.
Hello.
Here.
Everybody.
Okay. Did you turn down your volume? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hi, what's
I had
going
a
on?
couple questions about the fingerprint sensor on the iPhone 5S, if it's actually going to happen.
You know, all signs point to yes.
Yeah.
You know, multiple reports. Wall Street Journal confirmed it. Other sources have confirmed it. There's even been
Right.
marketing material that was leaked. Let me see if I can even pull up a link that actually showed the feature, and it's being called Touch ID.
No, I had a Right, yeah. I know that. I had a question about, the functionality of it.
Yeah, I mean, until we actually see it in action, I can't 100% say what the actual function will be of it.
What I'm trying to say is, I know I'm not being so clear. Do you think they're going to just make this for unlocking it and eventually roll it out to iCloud, keychain, to wallet, or do you think they'll give out all that functionality right off the bat?
Let's throw out the speculation, guys.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think I think they'll just have it be unlocking initially, and then they'll roll it out into being integratable with all their apps as a form of mobile security payments or authorizations and things like that.
I
It
agree.
seems
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
Apple-y.
I think the main thing is here they're trying to get people used to doing a new behavior, right? Like even we talked about the fitness bands and smartwatches coming out. People are more comfortable with putting technology on their wrist thanks to Nike Fuel Band, Fitbit, and Jawbone Ultra. So that's, even though it's not a mainstream thing yet, mainstream exploded, it's getting there. So this is a thing where they're trying to develop that behavior in your consumers' minds to get more comfortable with it. Kind of like when iOS came out on the phone, once it was on the iPad, people were so comfortable with just using it. They were it immediately resonated with them. So I think that's part of the process when people are adopting these new technologies
I
to have
agree,
some
and
sort of link to it.
And it's part of telling that story. If you can get people used to using it, and then you can say, hey, that thing that you've been using now for 6 months, you could also use it for this. And then pretty soon, and if there is an SDK related to it, if they allow app developers to integrate the fingerprint sensor, which, let me be clear, I'm highly skeptical about. I do not think that they will do that anytime soon. But once they start to do that, that's when you really will see people be able to unlock the full power. But in the very beginning, it's just oh, I'll put my finger on it and a thing happens. It's training. It's like training a puppy one thing at a time.
We're all little puppies,
We're all just little
We're all their
puppies.
we're all their little test tube rats. It's all good. So, all right, thanks for calling, Mo. We appreciate it, man. All right. So what we're gonna do also is, if you guys check out our live blog page, this is where everything is happening. We're actually inserting polls within the live blog. So if you guys check out the link, even Steven can pull up to my page. If you guys aren't seeing it already, below our video player, you'll see this poll down here. And the question that we want to ask you guys is, what rumored Apple product are you most excited to see? We asked you that earlier in the show. 51% of respondents have said the iPhone 5S. 35% have said more of iOS 7. And I'm actually surprised, 13%, a little more, because we've got people sometimes hate on the fact that the iPhone 5C, I don't care, but 13% want to see the iPhone 5C.
Interesting.
That's, you know, a little stronger than I would have expected.
You know what, I'm not surprised by that, actually. I think people are definitely interested in that because I think a cheaper iPhone is intriguing. I also think people want to know what's up with I mean, I know it sounds silly, but the colors, right? Like it's gotten kind of boring.
Yeah.
I think they're curious. It may be a reflection of curiosity more than actual purchasing interest, but people are saying like, what? Oh, wait, a new iPhone design? Because frankly, I think there's a feeling that iPhone has gotten kind of stale, right?
Yeah.
iOS 7 is going to make a huge difference in making these phones actually feel like new phones. But if they look totally different, if they have a plastic back, if there's different colors, I think people are going to be like, whoa.
I think it's
Slow your
also
roll.
is kind of calling Samsung's bluff a little bit because I feel like Samsung's been trying to paint Apple in a corner by going with the screen size thing and like knowing that they're always going to win the screen size game because they manufacture these screens and that's where they can excel. So like, I think their strategy has been like, well, the Apple will never go inexpensive as a way to compete against our strategy of phone screen size. And maybe if they do and they say like, look, we're going to make it inexpensive, we're going to make the people's iPhone, we're going to blow it out, and we're going to really compete at that strategy that we haven't done before. I think it might be surprising for the industry.
Yeah, excellent. All right, guys, we're going to continue to bring you more information and fun stuff. But what we wanted to do is earlier today, outside of Apple's headquarters, we have Josh Lowenson and Scott Stein. They did a little talk back and forth about what they're expecting to see. So we're going to watch that video, talk about it a little bit, come back and hear what you guys have to say as well. All right, so let's check this out.
Hey, this is Josh Lowenson with CNET, and I am here with
Scott Stein from New York, and we're here at Apple.
Yeah, this is the headquarters in Cupertino, and today we are here for a special event where we're expecting new iPhones. So, Scott, why don't you talk a little bit for what you think is going to happen?
Well, it doesn't seem nearly as exciting as last year, and it's pretty quiet here right now. But, last year you had the iPhone 5. You had a big anticipated event, and that was a re-engineered phone, and there was expectation after Steve Jobs of what would happen. Now this year it looks like, based on everything we've heard, that the 5S is basically, looks a lot like the 5, and then you have this rumor, it seems very real, of this other iPhone. So two iPhones, one in multicolors, and the other one looking a lot like the 5. And the 5S may have a fingerprint sensor. Now that's the big question there is, what would they do with that? Could there be some sort of interesting announcement with security or payments, or how would Apple sell that? And for the 5C, the question is, will it be breaking into a market that's about affordable phones? You look at, overseas with China, and you look at Android and these low-cost phones that are entering the market. Can they come up with something that maybe is really low cost in an unlocked version? And can they sell that in a way that becomes really appealing outside of the United States? It may seem a little less exciting to us, but you've got that, and then you've got iOS 7 as well.
So, Scott, what aren't we expecting today?
Well, we're not expecting anything with Macs. You expect a second event like last year in October, probably, with Mavericks, and you're talking about, all of the Macs have not been updated other than the Air. Also, we're not expecting iPads at this event, probably along with the Macs at a separate event. And we're not expecting anything with iWatch. We're not expecting anything with the next Apple TV, although we are expecting a software update with Apple TV that will work probably with elements of iOS 7 and iRadio and that type of stuff.
So definitely a lot, but maybe just not for right now.
Yeah, it sounds like this will be part one of, probably at least a two-part event for Apple this fall.
Got it. Well, stay tuned for more. Again, I'm Josh Lowenson, and this is Scott Stein, and thanks for joining us.
All right, guys. Now, just a quick thing. Josh and Scott will be on the ground. They'll be part of our live blog. We'll start, around 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Can you guys hang with us that long?
39 minutes. I think you guys can do it, right?
We're going to take all your calls and tweets. I mean, we're not even messing
so
around.
much more to talk about.
There is.
I think, and that actually, so back to that idea of the iPhone 5C and where it might be sold, I do think we were just talking about this in the CNET fans chat room. If you guys, if you're old school,
Throwback.
irc.geekshed.net, hit us up in the CNET fans chat room. The possibility that the iPhone 5C may not even be available in the U.S., that the C could be for China, in which case 13% of our audience would be super bummed unless they're all from overseas. What do you think are the chances of that they would actually introduce a phone that's not available in the U.S.?
I think it's high. I think it could be pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is that they've tried to establish a strong hold in China, and the reality is, talking to my friends out there and just seeing what the market dynamics are, people don't really care about the iPhone in China. There's so many other cheaper alternatives, and Apple needs to somehow figure out how to get in that market because obviously their population is so lucrative that they need some sort of product to be able to at least be it's not going to be a success on the US level, but at least over in China.
I think it would be unprecedented for them. I mean, their whole thing is like, designed in California or
iPhone
Cupertino
5
or
California, baby.
I'm just saying, like, for them to make a product and brag about a product that's designed here in the United States and then not sell it in the United States seems totally against their whole philosophy.
But there have been a lot of rumors that they've already made a deal with China Mobile. So, the number one carrier in China. And it would be a huge departure. But listen, like at some point, we're going to have to really be honest about the fact that it is not the same company.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I like the speculation. I think it's a fun. I like that question. I like that question to throw out. I like how you threw that one out there. It's fun.
It's dishy.
Yeah, it's good. So let's go on to talk about find out what you guys have to say. I'm gonna actually give you Twitter people some love because we said we'd show your tweets.
That's right.
I guess we should show you your tweets, right? So here we go. If you check out on my screen what we have, some people what they want to see here. Thomas Peacock, mostly 5C and iOS 7, mostly 5C, right? He's on board with the colors. We also have Mike Rowe. He's still believing 2 down iWatch since 6th gen iPod Nano with silicone watch casing. He was one of those guys that I said, do not wear your Nano as a watch.
Oh.
Do not put a headphone on your wrist to your ear. That's embarrassing.
And yet, not only did people do it, it's now a category.
It is a category. And you know what? Maybe they prove me wrong. Maybe they will prove me wrong.
All I know is this Pebble's driving me crazy.
But it matches so well.
Dude, it does really match really well.
Hey, it's all about fashion. Come on now, let's get.
But
let's
it buzzes all the time.
One other thing is that we're talking about when we talk about
Phantom
iOS 7.
buzz.
I think that with iOS 7, a lot of people that are here that are excited is the combination. We sometimes ignore it. The fact is there's so many people that are using 4Ss that are ready to upgrade to the 5S, and then they're also going to get iOS 7 on top of that.
Yeah.
That's like Christmas for those users. Today is Christmas for those users.
Today is, and I think that's
it's a
the
big
part.
deal.
Like iOS 7 was announced so long ago, and there hasn't been as much focus about it, that for all the people, including me, I admit, who were like, oh, dear God, another iPhone. Like, iPhone is so stale and so tired, and I want it to be phablet, blah, 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 blah. It has really been easy to forget that iOS 7 is going to make those phones look and feel like totally different phone. Brand new. And a lot, whatever you think about that, right? It might be the kind of brand new that you're like, wow, play school. Right. Or it could be the kind of brand new that makes you go, especially if it's also cheaper. And honestly, like if they're really going to do graphite and stuff, I mean, if you get kind of a whole new look and feel, newly designed hardware and a new operating system, you could be talking about something compelling as skeptical as I've been.
And a remodeled Apple store to buy them in, too, in your neighborhood.
A brand new Apple store. It's going to be beautiful.
So much new.
I'm just saying, like 2 years ago, they did the same thing. They closed it down for a remodeling, and then it opened like the day.
Did they release an iPhone that day that they reopened?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they did. That's why I was like, did they do that, or was I crazy?
I think that, just from a personal use case, like using iOS 7, at first I was very, mediocre. There's some things I liked, some things I didn't. I wasn't a fan of like how bright, how I call it iOS 7 Hello Kitty because it really has that feel to it. But I got to tell you, over time, I went back to iOS 6 just to, compare, see how I felt about it. And that kind of sold me that I really do like as an Apple user. And we know Apple is bringing a lot of features that Android had, right? You got the control center that everyone's like, Android's had that since day one. Well, yeah, they have. But as an Apple user, I think people are going to like it a lot. Like after that initial shock over time, because that's what happened to me. I was kind of like, and now I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, I think the functionality, it sounds like, is going to definitely win people over, at least make people interested. I will say, though, Stephen Levy just tweeted that Apple is officially desperate. I put the link in the Google Doc if we want to take your screen.
Pull it up.
He goes, Apple is officially desperate. They're feeding us full breakfasts. They've got like an omelet
eggs.
stand.
Ooh.
And we have a bunch. We have a bunch of food pictures in our live blog
because we hungry.
I will say at these
we
events
hungry.
they usually have like a presentation of like croissants and donuts and stuff like that. But
there's an omelet stand. There's ham and sweet potato hash with Gruyere. There's a whole like little. I'm mad now. Like,
maybe,
hey guys,
maybe it's just because they're playing on it's on the home court.
Baked
yeah, exactly,
eggs
exactly.
With spinach. I'm just saying. Okay, this is Apple. They do not try to win over the press.
Well,
it's a new company, you guys. It's a new day. It's a new dawn.
Well, maybe it's a new meal. I mean, I remember when they were giving the media iTunes gift cards after their events.
Oh,
they were. Do you remember that?
See, they're trying to win them over ahead of time.
Or it could be a peek at the fact that we're going to be looking at like a 3-hour presentation. We don't want you to fall over from.
I don't know. I mean, you gotta have a bio break
actually.
somewhere in there. I mean, we're troopers in here. We don't need no bio breaks.
Right.
For the record,
About the truck and
need-
for the record, I've got my
mimosa.
bag under my desk.
I got half a bottle of champagne to go. In case you guys are wondering, yes, we're really doing this.
It's really good.
And yes, our bosses know.
All right, should we take some calls, guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Let's go to the phone lines. Our friend John from San Francisco, the city by the bay, like just right over there. Here. John, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
Wanted to throw some ideas out that I want to see in a phone, but first, you guys are talking about the fingerprint reader.
Yeah.
There's this scientist I follow on Twitter, Phil Platt, who said, who made a comment this morning, the iOS 5 because the NSA wants your thumbprint too.
Oh! Dang.
That was a really great comment. Yeah, I don't understand why Apple is taking their time releasing a wider phone, fixing their horrible word substitution program that everyone complains about. Won't put in
Yes.
expandable memory. Won't even do like a one-way Outlook sync. Even Android does a one-way Outlook sync. They seem ridiculously stubborn, and quite frankly, I get the feeling it's because Tim Cook really doesn't know anything about creativity. He's kind of like Steve Ballmer, who just muscles his way through the competition and doesn't really know how to make a product.
Yeah, John, you know what? I think you have an interesting point because it remains to be seen, right? Tim Cook can manage a business with successful products, right? A mature product line. We have seen that.
Yeah, he's probably a great COO, but he shouldn't be running a company where he has to create something because he doesn't know what he's doing.
I mean, clearly, I think that we can all agree that Apple, at least we have yet to see until they release that next product, whatever that is, that will tell us if they still have any remnants of that vision left that we might have seen before. Right? Other companies are beating them to the punch with these things, but go ahead.
I'll say in Tim Cook's defense, like every feature that you just complained about, as far as the legacy of all the iPhone features that are horrible, those were all under Steve Jobs'
They were all Jobs, Ives, and Forstall.
Really,
right
iOS 7, I think, is going to be the first product we're seeing from really a Tim Cook regime change.
Yeah, and those guys are, other than Forstall, those guys are primarily in place. Ives and some of the bench remains in place to be the idea people. And I think Tim Cook is at this point meant to be the kind of COO steward. Now, I agree with you. That is not to say, John, that he's the guy, right? That Apple will remain. And a lot of the tech press, I think, has basically been feeling like Apple has taken this year off, which either suggests that they're looking for a new direction or they're regrouping and trying to figure out where they're going to go next.
Or they have something insane for October.
I also want to say,
they're fine.
I think if you
They're
put
just like, we're good.
Tim Cook and Steve Ballmer in a room together, they would actually absorb each other's energy and become like a black hole. I think
that's true.
In some ways, they're using that same strategy of powering through with just dropping money on the problem. But I think as for their personalities, they could not be two more opposite people.
I agree.
As someone who covers Apple, I think the general consensus for someone who maybe used to love Apple a lot is they feel like there's nothing to get excited about anymore. Like all the excitement has come from Android and Google and other companies, and they're like, when are you going to do something that is different, right? I mean, the reality is that if Apple made a large screen phone before anyone did, they would have been able to champion that as we also did the large screen phone, but they can't, and they never will now, right? Once they bring a large screen phone out, and there's rumors they've been trying to look at this for how many years, but recently, like people are just gonna be the same thing. Oh, you copied, you're not innovative. So it's really gonna come down for Apple to bring us something new that resonates, and it's up to them to figure that out.
And they may not. I mean, you might be
right
that they may not, because it does. We are starting to get the feeling that they're casting around, right? You keep seeing, they're bringing in some more Maps people, or they bought this little company, or now they're testing like a watch thing, or they're maybe testing a huge iPhone, and now they're testing like a TV, and then you just don't. They are either a company in search of a direction, or Tim Cook. I mean, Tim Cook presents himself certainly as a confident person, right? Who's just like, look. Maybe his vision is that we don't have to be visionaries. Maybe his vision is, listen, we're sitting on a huge pile of cash. Our products still have more cachet, even if they don't have more market share, that they still have more cachet than any other product in the market, and we can coast. I don't know that that's a good strategy.
Yeah, but coasting is what kills a lot of companies.
Absolutely.
It sure does.
We agree.
But we should all be failing in the way that Microsoft is failing, right? Like, you could say that Microsoft has had problems. They're still one of the fourth richest. I think they're the fourth richest company in the world, or something like that. Like, they're still making money, and Apple might have consciously decided to become a normal company that's really, really, really successful, but we just don't love them the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked out the Windows Phone recently. It looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I hear a lot of people, though, complaining with iPhones that the screen is too small. They hate typing on it, and that includes women I know with small hands. Like, I think everyone wants a wider phone,
It's totally
and
annoying.
they're just too stubborn to suck it up and make it.
You know what? I like that passion, John.
I do
think,
too.
I think that's some good stuff in it. Clearly, you care about technology and what's good for you. I mean, this is the type of calls we like.
And
so,
today could be the day.
John, you could get a larger screen phone that does everything you want today.
Or not.
Probably not, though. Let's be honest. Probably not.
Or
though.
I'll buy a Windows Phone. Yeah.
Totally.
All right, thanks for calling, John. We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so we have a special guest on the line now. We talked to you about Tim Stevens. He is our new editor-at-large here at CNET. You might recognize him from Engadget, but he is part of our team, part of the family. We're really excited to have him on board. And Tim, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's very exciting here in Cupertino.
How exciting is the food? Because we're looking at those pictures, and we want to know what's up with that.
Yeah, what on
Really? Is
earth?
that all you're thinking about? Come on, we got some
Yes.
exciting devices to talk about. And you want to learn about the omelet bar? There's some very nice food upstairs. There's a lovely selection of pastries, many of which are fully vegan, which is great. There's an omelet bar upstairs if you're so inclined. And Al Gore actually just walked by, and he made a beeline right for the omelet bar, which is pretty interesting.
I'm sure he
What did you
did.
get? What was his combo? Was it a Denver, or what did he go for?
Man, that is a very good question. I wish I'd been paying attention to that.
Tim,
sort of
this is
thing.
the
I have no
reporting we
idea. Probably
expect.
something environmentally friendly. Is that too cliche?
Tim, if Bono shows up, you need to find out what is in his omelet. This is your
Okay,
mission.
I will
dude.
do that.
This is
I
serious
will leave
stuff.
the live blog immediately and chase Bono upstairs
Thank
to
you.
the omelet bar.
That's
Right
dedication.
on.
Exclusive.
So, Tim, tell kind of paint the scene for us out there. Are you inside or outside right now?
We are inside. So this morning we were lining up outside of Building 4 here at Apple's main campus. We're now inside of Building 4, which is kind of their executive presentation. This is where they unveiled the 4S most recently a couple of years back. So, kind of milling around outside of the auditorium waiting to get in now. We're expecting doors will be open probably in about 10 minutes. It's a pretty small event. There's only a couple hundred journalists here, people from the press, from the online outlets, such as our own. Some broadcast media are here. And then outside of the venue, there's a lot of trucks lined up. It's kind of like a broadcast shanty town out there with lots of little stages and broadcast trucks and a lot of lights out there waiting for the post-event analysis.
Now, Tim, I know that this is your first Apple event for CNET. How many of these have you been to? Are you fatigued?
It's a good question, actually. I was trying to figure that out this morning. I think this is Apple event number 10 for me. I'm not sure. I think it's around number 10. So, yeah, it's getting to be a little bit old hat, but it's always very exciting. Live blogs are a lot of fun for me anyway, but the Apple events are always the most exciting. So I'm pretty stoked.
All right, your predictions. Fingerprint sensor, yes, no.
I would have said no a couple of days ago, but, man, it certainly seems like it's getting more likely. So, yeah, I guess I'll have to put my money on yes.
And then you think iPhone 5C, China exclusive or available in the U.S.?
No, definitely available in the U.S. I don't think they'd make such a big deal about the colors and everything else. If it wasn't something they're going to try to market so worldwide, I don't think it'll be marketed as a low-cost phone. I think it'll be marketed as a kind of a fun, a hip, colorful, exciting product that happens to be low-cost. So, yes, I definitely think we'll see it here in the U.S.
Yeah, the phone for the kids these days.
Hey, Tim.
Exactly.
If since we're talking about this, and a lot of people are always hoping, what could that one more thing be? I mean, do you personally, what is your take on this whole smartwatch push by technology companies? Is that something you're into or not, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, something I'm really excited about, and something that I think has a lot of potential too. But it's still early days, just like it's early days for Google Glass. It's early days for the smartwatch, even though we've had smartwatches, going back to the Wim like 10 years ago. But I think that people are ready for that kind of thing now, where they weren't 10 years ago. And the technology, I think, is ready too to do a really good smartwatch. So I do think that's something that Apple's got to get into at some point. And I'm excited to see what happens when they do. But I'm just a little bit skeptical that today's the day that they're going to pull that thing out. I think it'd be great. I mean, if they did, that'd be a huge story. I'd be very excited. But I think it's more likely we're going to have to wait till next year before we see some sort of a wearable device from Apple.
All right.
And then what do you want to see out of this? Somebody just made an interesting comment in the live blog, actually, saying, I'd love to see a fingerprint scanner and waterproofing. Like, we do seem to be, this is a kind of a curveball, but we seem to be seeing this a little bit of a trend toward more rugged phones. Do you think Apple would do something design-wise that could be a little bit of a shakeup like that?
That would be great if they did. Honestly, I don't think that's too likely for the C. I think that'd be a great selling point for the C if it were the durable option for the iPhone. I think that'd be fantastic. But I would say it's probably a little bit unlikely. We've seen Sony playing around with waterproof phones, and in Japan, waterproof functionality is pretty standard. But not here in the U.S. And sad to say, I don't think we'll see it today.
I know. I don't get that. I got all excited about that.
I love it, man. I'd love to be able to talk in the shower or at the beach.
For crying out loud, right? Like, it's time. It's time.
Well, yeah, we don't want to see your first look of that specific feature reviewed on the phone, Tim. So if you could just tell us how it is.
Are you saying you don't want to see me at the beach in a bathing suit?
You know what? Just do Scoble. Just do Scoble one bet.
Exciting place that I was joining here. You're telling me already that I'm going to get censored in terms of what I can wear?
I didn't tell you that.
CNET where banana hammocks live on.
Just to be clear, I didn't say anything about not doing that. So welcome to CNET. It gets a little awkward.
But awesome, Tim. Thanks. We'll be looking forward to your coverage during the live blog, and we just want to introduce you to the CNET audience, and you'll be here with us, and just pounding out great stuff for us. So, Tim, thanks again, and welcome to the family.
Thanks very much. I'm really, really excited to be joining the team. I'm really excited to be live blogging. Everyone's getting really excited, so I think we're going to be going in soon. So we'll be getting the text flowing in very short order.
Awesome. Tweet your omelet pic.
Tweet. Awesome. There you go. Tim Stevens, editor at large over here at CNET. So great to have him on board. Now, we're talking about a lot of the features that are coming out, and Donald, you did a top 5 features. Tell us a little bit about it before we jump to it.
I did the laziest thing in the world, which is I harvested polling data that we did for all CNET readers to figure out what features they wanted most in the iPhone 5S, and then I just basically ranked it by how many people voted for the different things, and I made a top 5 out of it.
You're a genius.
All right, so we're gonna check that out.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, here we go, guys.
If the rumors are right, Apple's next iPhone is right around the corner, and not a minute too soon, since it's been years since I've experienced public iPhone snobbery. The rumor mills are hopping with reports of what new features we can expect, but who really cares what we're getting? The real question is, what do you want? I'm Donald Bell, and in this top 5, we're counting down 5 of the features you want most from the next iPhone. These numbers come straight from polling data we've collected from CNET readers over the past few weeks, so don't you yell at me if you don't agree with what you hear. Go yell at yourself, I guess. Starting off at number 5 with around 9,000 votes, we asked you what long missing feature of the iPhone you wanted most in the next one, and you said NFC, near field communication. Well, I wouldn't count on it, but I understand the appeal in theory. If nothing else, it could turn the undeletable Passbook app into a functional wallet that you still won't use and can't delete. Also, the AirDrop feature of iOS 7 is already bringing local file sharing without the awkward ritual of bumping your phones together. I'm glad somebody wants NFC, but it's not me. I'm not rubbing my phone on stuff. When they come out with introvert germaphobe communication, then we'll talk. Alright, when we asked you what feature you wanted most from iOS 7, we got nearly 10,000 votes for number 4. Control Center. I don't blame you. This is Apple finally admitting that Android had the right idea when they took all the most frequently used settings and plopped them into one panel that you can access from any screen. No more digging around for Bluetooth or clicking 3 places just to adjust screen brightness. With any luck, you may never have to open the real settings menu again. For number 3, we asked you what kind of material you wanted the iPhone to be made from. Maybe Kevlar like the Moto X, or plastic like the Galaxy S4. But instead you voted for metal. Maybe the poll got hacked by a rogue group of Beavis and Butthead fans, or maybe you just like the cold feel of hard metal in your hand. You'll probably get this one though, considering that the iPhone 5 already uses a mostly metal design. Rumor is we'll also get a low-cost plastic version of the iPhone, which is exciting news for the 6% of you who voted for plastic. For number 2, we asked you what was the most important hardware upgrade that would influence your decision to buy the new iPhone, and you said better battery life, a whopping 57% of voters. I totally know where you're coming from. How much of our lives do we spend tending to our battery life? And you just know that a decade from now, all these things will harvest wireless ambient energy and we'll have to bore our kids with tales of the great lightning cable shakeup of 2012? It was mayhem, I tell you. Now, the bad news is that the #1 feature CNET readers want most from the next iPhone runs completely counter to your dream of better battery life. At #1, a bigger screen. We gave you a range of sizes to choose from, and the most popular option was 4.7 inches. Same size as the Motorola X, but not quite the 5-inch plank of the Samsung Galaxy S4. The funny thing is, once we start getting all our email on our Google Glass and our tweets on our iWatch and maybe some Yahoo underwear and a Facebook girdle, the idea of actually looking at your phone is going to seem like overkill. So there you go, 5 of the features that you guys want most from the next iPhone. For all the latest rumors, visit cnet.com/iPhone, and for more top 5s from me, top5.cnet.com. I'm Donald Bell. Thanks for watching.
Donald, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to toss to one more video. This is a little preview for those of you who just kind of joined us a little later of what we're kind of expecting to see at the event. We'll be back now. Make sure you guys keep on hammering those phone lines. I mean, we are filled all the way through. We're going to go with a lightning round of phone calls, 1-888-900-CNET, but let's check out the video first, all right?
Every Apple event is shrouded in secrecy, and the upcoming one is no exception. But as the date nears, wacky rumors give way to sure bets.
At this point, we really know exactly what they're going to do. We've seen both iPhones, the 5C and the 5S. This is the plastic and the metal version. There have been all sorts of leaks. We've seen basically everything but a fully functional phone.
Also likely, an array of colors for the low-cost iPhone. Another rumor that was all but confirmed by the kaleidoscopic hues of the event invitations, which read, "This should brighten everyone's day." Just as we know what to expect, we know what not to expect.
New iPads are definitely coming, probably just not at this event. We're expecting something maybe in October or early November, and that makes a lot of sense for the Christmas and holiday shopping season.
Don't hold your breath for a refreshed Apple TV either. That may come next year. Same goes for an iWatch. Despite Samsung's splashy Galaxy Gear debut, historically, Apple is less focused on being first and more concerned with nailing the user experience.
A lot of times they'll come in late to a market and do something that's really kind of stupendous and better than anything else. They'll come out with a product and keep iterating and iterating and iterating. We saw it with the iPod, we saw it with the iPhone, we see it with the iPad, and they do it with Macs. I mean, it's just every single version gets tighter.
Other rumors are harder to pin down.
The fingerprint sensor is one of the iffiest rumors and also one of the most back and forth rumors there is. The big expectation for what a fingerprint scanner will do is to let you unlock your phone without having to use a passcode.
And of course, Apple could have a trick up its sleeve. We may hear those magic words. There's just one more thing.
I think the biggest surprise would be if their cheaper iPhone is actually free. This is something that you basically have with the iPhone 4 right now. But if they introduce a brand new device that's free, that would be a huge deal for Apple.
And a bigger deal for Apple fans. All will be revealed on Tuesday. In San Francisco, I'm Sumi Das, CNET.com for CBS News.
All right, there you go, guys. Another kind of recap of what we're expecting to see. We're going to hit the phone lines now. This is all about you. We want to keep you guys involved with the show. So let's go, waiting patiently. Charlie, my man, if you turn down the sound on your computer, we will be able to talk to you. See, we're gonna. Yes, Charlie, what's up? How can I help you out? Thanks for calling.
Hey, how you guys?
We're doing great.
Waiting for the keynote. What are we going to have? 15 minutes to go?
Yeah, it's getting close.
That
getting
is correct.
Close. Hit us with your question. We got to get our calls cleared. Go, go, go.
Well, actually, was expecting to see maybe an iWatch or something, but I just can't wait because I really don't know how to get away from my little Pebble watch, just as you with your orange one. Mine's black. And let's see what happens. I'm expecting also machines because I'm working at a premium reseller, and funny thing is that we don't have machines right now.
Yeah.
They're very low in stock and everything.
Yeah.
Let's see what goes on.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for calling, Charlie.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people look at inventory levels of iMacs and Mac Minis to see where they're at. We may or may not see them here today. I mean, I would lean towards probably not. But when he brought up the whole iWatch thing, we put up another poll on our live blog for you guys to answer to find out, do you want to see an Apple Watch? I'm not going to click on the results yet. We'll go back to it in a second. You can also tweet us at CNET Live. Do you guys want to see an iWatch today? Or, you know, are you guys willing to wait it out and hope that Apple is actually working on it really hard on the back and not releasing it because they're working really hard on it?
Just don't even do it.
We only release
They're gonna do
perfection.
it. They're gonna do it. You know they're gonna
I
do
just
it.
love that the entire tech industry did watches because Apple might do a watch.
Yeah.
Right.
But I definitely think it's not going to happen today.
But then also Pebble's the one that kicked that thing off, right? Once Pebble came out, people were like, whoa, and the conversation started. Like,
and the conversation was like, how long is it going to take for Apple to do one of these?
Exactly.
And then that kicked everything off.
And then Samsung's like, we better do that.
Right.
I will say if they were going to do it this year, that it could be today because it's a phone accessory. Like, it would actually make sense thematically for it to be introduced today. So I will amend my prediction, which is that if it is not introduced today, I do not believe it will be introduced this year.
Good.
Yeah,
I like that.
I don't know. I'm predicting no because I think Apple likes to see how all the different ways other people fail at a product before they come in and pretend like they invented it.
I was earlier on board with that. We would actually see it this year because I have friends that work on the UI team for the iWatch, and they were so juiced up about it. But you know, I don't know. They didn't tell me what it looks like. They're not going to tell me that. But
so I hear that the word I hear the word.
What's the word?
Bird.
The bird is the word.
I hear that the doors are open
Okay.
at the Apple keynote. This seems like a good time to remind you that we do not believe there will be a live stream of the actual event coming from Apple directly. So
we're as good as you get.
We encourage you to stay here with us, you guys.
I've got my black collared shirt and jeans and my Tim Cook glasses ready to roll. So if we need to do the little entrance here, we could do that.
We could do an entrance.
We could totally do an entrance. Stephen Beacham.
So?
Yeah.
Tim Cook.
I got some hot music for you to come into.
Oh, really? What kind of jam you got? You don't know yet.
But he will. But he will.
All right, let's
go Coldplay. They always go Coldplay.
All right, let's hit up the phone lines. We've got. I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly. Is it Bahash? Bash. What's up, buddy? I know. Don't. I know.
How
I feel.
are you guys doing today?
We're good. What's your question, buddy?
My question is, why is not everybody focusing on the next generation Wi-Fi standard, that is the AC Wi-Fi standard? I mean, aren't we expecting...
Yeah, sorry about that. I think my mouse actually hit him, but I know what he's... I'm serious.
Dang.
I first didn't pronounce his name correctly, and then I dropped him.
Well, we are going to answer your question in depth as soon as we figure out what you're talking about when Brian tells us.
No, okay, so he's obviously asking about why aren't people talking about the Wi-Fi 802.11 AC standard potentially maybe being in the phone.
Right.
They recently released their airport Wi-Fi base stations or routers that have the AC standard. The trick about that, again, and also the MacBook Airs had that new AC chip in it.
Right.
The trick, again, kind of like how as you move to the next generation of stuff, the router has to have it and the device has to have it for you to get any benefits of those faster speeds. And I don't know this specifically, but I know this happened at least with 802.11n. If you had a device that did not support 802.11n, it would throttle down to the more compatible Wi-Fi. So it would actually be a slower flavor. So let's say you go to a coffee shop. Let's say they have AC, and you got Joe Schmo with an 802.11b device. Well, that's not going to help anyone out. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it, but it's not something that people are going to go crazy about yet. You know, it's a nice improvement.
Yeah, I mean, and are we seeing any other phones that have integrated the AC chip?
Not that I could be wrong, but not that I've seen. Yeah, not that I know off the top of my head. You guys can correct us because we don't know everything, contrary to popular belief.
Every once in a while, we know everything.
We try.
Every once.
I know.
Yeah, I was actually just looking to see if we've seen other devices, but yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised to see it because Apple does want to roll out a new ecosystem, a new version of the little dealy, you know,
the airport base station.
Yeah, the airport base station. So it will all play nicely together, and then just be slow at coffee shops, like you said.
All right, let's go to Shamar in Atlanta. What's up, Shamar? Maybe I should hit it properly. Oh,
there you go.
There we go. My mouse. Shamar, now you're here. What's up?
Hey, Brian. First of all, I just want to say, faithful Apple Bite watcher.
Look out, boy. Look out.
Okay. Shameless plug. Okay. In any event, now, on Apple Bite, you brought up the thing about the set-top boxes, and I was curious, if we're not seeing that, then what was that then, as far as what they were bringing in?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, it's fine. No, because, we were talking about, that one more thing that we haven't really been seeing lately. And, although they have thrown like slight curveballs like the iPad 4 last year and I want to say the MacBook Pro updates and stuff like that, just little things that are like, oh, okay, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just phones are evolutionary now. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get that iPhone, 2007 effect. So I'm just wondering what the one more thing might be, if there is going to be a one more thing.
We don't really know. You know, they aren't really calling it one more thing. Molly's tired of that word, right?
I have a new rule. I mean, how long has it been since we actually had a one more thing? And I sort of feel like, I think that if I were Tim Cook, I would start ending all of my keynotes with, that is it.
just a mic drop.
Boom. And just,
just that's it.
Boom.
Dead drop.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Or even, I would accept that's that mattress man. Some sort of, you know.
Wait, what's that mattress man? What's that one? I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking, you know, we've been talking about wanting the bigger screen and NFC and all these other features. But I'm just wondering, I mean, other than fingerprint sensor, I think it's hot. I mean, it would be nice just to tap my thumb on the home key and be able to get into it when somebody's passing my phone instead of unlocking it. But, you know, as far as just getting this halo, like, oh, my God, did this with a smartphone, you know, I would really like just to have that effect again. But
I know.
I'm sorry.
You've got that. You've got that Apple love, right? Like I talked about earlier, people that are hoping that we can somehow recapture some kind of magic that gets you excited. I will say, though, the fingerprint sensor, really good for relationships with the lady. You know, she can't use your finger. She can't get into your phone with your passcode to find out what you're doing on your phone. So I like that feature.
It's the cheater sensor, is what you're saying.
Shamar, I mean, I'm down with no. I'm a good guy. Look at this face. Come on.
Apparently,
thought a lot about it, though.
Our report
clearly.
We're
getting like,
crazy.
I'm not saying where I got that idea.
No, not
Apparently, our live bloggers are in their seats.
Nice.
So we are getting closer. We are in theory 7 minutes away. We'll see. But going back to that question, I am sad to say that I think this is what everybody's getting at, right? Is that there's still this burning hope that Apple can wow you. You want to be romanced again because the relationship's getting a little old. Let's keep this metaphor going.
I do feel like the romance analogy.
We like that. I like
You've
that.
been together a long time. You're feeling like you haven't been wined and dined. It's getting real. It's a little business.
Wait, we're talking about the phones right now, right?
Yeah,
Mom?
totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
I
just want to make sure.
You're looking back at those honeymoon
the
photos and just,
Totally the phones.
what happened? Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that you can go to all the therapy you want to, but that magic ain't coming back.
It might. I still think they still have. I still think they might have another rabbit out of the hat. I think they could still do it, but we'll see. But Shamar, back to your question about what could it be in those boxes? There are rumors that it's probably just going to be maybe an Apple TV software update, not a major Apple TV. So if that's your one more thing, there you go. Woo.
Okay. Well, hey, I guess we'll wait and see. But and also with the 5C, do you think they'll have like they did with the iPad Mini, have something just kind of just like no Siri or something just to make that cheaper other than the plastic casing? Do you think that maybe they'll downgrade something?
To me,
I think they probably won't have that fingerprint sensor in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. And then I think otherwise the specs would be more like the current 5 specs. So I don't think they're not necessarily going to cripple it, but it won't get maybe some fingerprint sensors.
Any of the debut features that are going to come out.
They won't get a faster processor. It'll probably just live off the iPhone 5.
It could be free on contract. I mean, that would be cool.
Well, does that mean, Shamar, are you going to get one? Because you don't sound like a free on contract type of guy. You sound like give me the newest thing guy.
No, I'm very much the sell my phone on Gazelle as soon as the next one.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I admit I'm an Apple faithful, but I was leaning towards Android for a minute. And iOS 7 kind of brought me back.
Yeah.
But because I have so much content on iTunes, it's not even funny.
Yeah, they're toying with you, man.
That whole pane of switching is just like, okay, Samsung. Yeah, the Note was cool. The Note was cool, and the Samsung Galaxy Gear. Yeah. Great way to show how not to make a watch.
Oh,
seriously.
Killing me.
$300 price tag, not water resistant. Yeah, that's all fun.
Hey, Shamar, do you want a job here or something?
I was going to say, can we hire HMR? Because
if you want to fly out here, I mean, maybe.
Hey, Brian, I tweet you all the time, man. Shamel 2K.
Oh, I got you. I know what you're talking about. I got you, Shamel. All right, bro. Hey, we're gonna get some other people in here, but thank you so much for calling. It's good talking to you, man. All right.
No problem.
All right, later.
Quick little plug before we move on. If you're not already following CNET en Español and you would like to read live tweets and live coverage of the Apple event in Spanish, go ahead, twitter.com/CNET en _ES. That's an exciting new thing.
Me gusta.
Me gusta mucho.
Me gusta.
See?
All right. Let's go to the phone calls. More calls on the telefono. Telefono.
We're not going to do that.
That's why I'm not. No, I'm not going to. I'm
Take
gonna
some pressure
stop.
off us to do that.
I'm at CNET. I'm in CNET US right now. Not CNET China or España. All right, let's go hit the phone. Joshua, save me. Save me.
Yeah, you need help.
Hey, Joshua, what's up?
Here too.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Joshua?
You know what? He's been waiting for 42 minutes. This guy's hardcore.
Oh, dude.
This guy's hardcore. I
Yo,
like that.
listen, guys, you guys are the best. I want to say I love you guys. Been watching you guys for a long time, and you know what about this whole Apple event? They really, really need to just make us go, wow. That's what they need to do. You know, need to step up their game because for a while there they were losing steam, and I'm just hoping that this event's going to blow my mind. You know?
Yeah.
I think
You're not alone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want that. There's a lot of pent up demand for them to show them something because we really haven't seen anything in the past year and a half that has made us go, OMG.
I think that's true. And the iOS event, I think, was something that people really did want to get excited
Yeah.
about. And then at the end of the day, we really found ourselves talking so much about design stuff that it just, the last one especially, I thought, was pretty brutal, especially coming on the heels of Google I/O,
Yeah.
which they had showed off so much truly revolutionary technology, amazing integration of technology and context and connectivity. And then Apple was like,
Yeah.
and then this color would be like this, and then these corners are going to look like that. And it was a little rough. So I think you are not alone in hoping for more. And I do actually think there's a possibility that you'll get a little taste of it because and you know me, not a fangirl.
No.
But I do think that, you know, because we have all forgotten about iOS 7, that they may really be able to show off some cool integration, some cool, you know, to get back to the strength, which is that you build the software and the hardware. Well, okay, now you've got new software, new hardware, and potentially new hardware features, that there is a chance that we could see something cool today. But man, if we don't, it's going to be crushing.
Yeah, I think people are going to not be.
Oh,
That's why the booze is here.
Yeah. It's already kicking in. Now, while we're going to take a couple more calls, it's 9:58 a.m. Apple is expected to start this at 10 a.m., so you guys can kind of take a look at the interior inside. This is really kind of standard for their auditorium inside of Apple's campus. But we'll take a few more calls. If we do have to cut you guys off, we apologize because obviously we got to get to the show, and we will be live blogging it. Apple is not expected to have any live stream of their own, so
I do have to
you can
say,
stick with us.
One of my favorite tweets so far,
Yes, give it
hashtag
to me.
CNET Live, Carlos Martin says, a fingerprint sensor that becomes a taser gun when the fingerprint reader, like when your fingerprint fails,
See?
right?
That's the kind of thing I'm talking
That's
about.
the perfect cheater
That
phone.
could happen.
iPhone 5C, iPhone 5 cheater.
That would be
That's
a
gonna
wow
be
factor.
in the iPhone 5C.
Write it
Your
down.
girl can't look at your phone.
Write it down.
And is going to shock you if you try and get anyone else's phone.
I hope you guys are keeping a scorecard at home because our predictions are getting more and more awesome by the minute.
This
Like,
mimosa
show
is
us-
kicking in, baby.
He's had an inch and a half.
Stop!
of
Don't come in. I cannot drink. Look, I'm already red.
It
Oh
is
my
gonna
gosh.
get so good in here today.
Messed up.
We mentioned that we're the only stream, right?
Oh goodness. Okay, let's go hit up another phone call. I hope I pronounced your name properly. Is this Talon or Talon?
It's Talon.
Talon. Okay.
That's a sweet name.
Hey, what's up, Talon? How you doing?
Good. Well, basically, I stayed home from school today to watch the Apple keynote. You know, in the pregame.
Whoa. Talon, how old
No,
are you? Do I
that
need to
makes
talk to your
sense.
parents? Do I need to talk to your parents right now, Talon? You ditched school. You
Here,
ditched
turn it
school?
down.
Turn it down, guys in the back. Turn it down. I'm talking to Brian Tong. You
That's
ditched
outstanding.
school?
Huh?
You ditched school?
No. My mom let me stay home. She's right here on the computer.
Your mom is enabling you?
Yeah, just for a couple hours. You know, just to.
Oh man.
You're talking to a future CNET employee right here.
All right,
I love it.
Talon, what's your
It's a
question?
good mom.
Talon, are you there? Oh my gosh, his mom just like once they found out that the mom was enabling, she probably pulled the cord.
Oh, come on, honey.
All right, Talon, you know what?
He's
Call
gone.
us back if you can get through somehow.
Or tweet us. Tweet us.
We'll get you. Oh, that's so sad. But that's why you got to go to school.
You
got
got
to go to school.
Come on.
Stay in school.
It's karma.
All right, Roberto from Charlotte. What's up, man?
Not a whole lot.
Oh, come on. There's a lot going on today.
Something, maybe.
My whole question, well, not really question, comment, is on the fingerprint sensor.
Yeah.
Basically, I read an article recently that iOS is going to integrate a security feature to where you cannot wipe the phone clean or reset the phone without the original Apple ID.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if you don't enter the original Apple ID password that you associated with your phone, if you go wipe your phone clean from the iCloud later, and reset the phone, shut it down, the phone's basically a brick until the original Apple ID password.
So we've heard the same thing, but unfortunately we're gonna have to shut you down because the event has just begun. So stay with us. We will talk about that later, though, because
absolutely.
it's an interesting security feature. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. So we're gonna. Sorry about that, Roberto.
Sorry about that.
So we're gonna transition over to the live blog right now. We have still pictures. We're gonna kind of do a play-by-play and have open conversation. But Tim Cook has taken the stage, and he has said, "I've got some updates on some exciting things happening around the company this month in September." He's bringing up the iTunes Festival. If you guys use iTunes, they pretty much pimp that everywhere possible. The iTunes Festival celebrating their passion for music. He says this is their best year yet.
Mm-hmm. So
what's going on? Are you right?
Nothing. I'm just bummed out because I think we're gonna do that same thing where we do like a little update and then the stores.
Maybe they're gonna show off your store,
really?
Molly.
I'm just saying that if that happens,
we'll take a call.
Yeah,
we'll take a call.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But if that happens, then it's already like. You're not going to be with
No.
then it's no romance.
The saddest one is when they go into the iWorks demo. All right.
No, we're not going to get that.
No. Honestly, I'm actually pretty stimulated. Like, I think iWorks is amazing, and I love watching those demos. Molly actually thought I was serious for a second. If you cut at Molly's
for
face,
1 second, I was like,
she was looking. I know when Molly thinks I'm serious, and she thought I was serious.
Brian Tong's fanboyism jumped the shark there.
I was like,
that's too much.
Get that Kool-Aid away from him. Take it away.
This is the best Kool-Aid I've had all morning.
Kool-Aid is outstanding.
All right. Anything else going on?
No.
They're still talking about iTunes Festival, talking about how the multiple artists, 30 nights of live performances in London, including Elton John. I think Usher was on it last year. They put it on Apple TV, so that was actually, I kind of watched that.
20 million people apparently tried to get tickets, and Lady Gaga played her entire album, and they didn't charge anything to get in. 20 million people applied. Since not everyone can get in, it will be live streamed to 100+ countries, and many of them will be on demand.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of Twitter questions from people wondering where the live stream is from Apple.
Yeah.
And so just once again, a reminder, we don't think they're doing one. And I'm assuming if it hasn't started now, they're not doing one. They don't traditionally live stream the events from Cupertino.
Correct.
So stick with us. We'll be following various live blogs and giving you the updates as they happen. And hopefully they'll be a lot more interesting. And shout out to Rafi, who is apparently watching us live from Kabul.
Rafi, you're the man. So
Right
if you guys are following our live blog, right, we're pumping out a lot of photos and just kind of talking you through what's happening over there. They're still talking about iTunes Festival. They're kind of promoting this as one of their, flagship kind of celebrations of music with the iTunes Store, which is a behemoth of an ecosystem and really keeping a lot of people from really, really making that jump, even though they want to jump.
Yep.
I got an HTC One for my work phone, believe it or not. Why are you pulling your head back like that?
Because now
I love the HTC
Look
one.
at our live. No, I love the HTC One. I'm just looking at our live blog, and now we have a black slide with that same old white font that says video. Later on, we're gonna have, you know what? We're gonna have one of those slides, and it's gonna say demo, and I am gonna drink.
No, when we demo, we're gonna take calls. That's what makes it even better because we're gonna talk to people.
Anytime you
This
see
is
that
no
font.
romance.
Yeah.
There are no rose petals leading to a bathtub filled with bubbly
We should
water.
be so thankful that we are being spared from having to watch these videos because they're usually so over the top, just like self-inflated.
Video.
We're gonna have to, we're I guess in this room we disagree because our buddy Tim Stevens, who we introduced to you, might have said that he does love a good Apple promo video.
Might have been.
There was no
sarc
mark on there. There was no sarc mark on there. There was no
You
sarc
know what?
mark.
That's because he's really nice. That's what we hear. Say
Maybe he's just so sarcastic that we can't detect it.
could be just like dry as a bone. I prefer to believe that he's just like, oh no,
I think they're actually pumping toxic fumes into that auditorium just to make people like really amped up about
That's
this.
true. They can't do that at Moscone.
You can't.
You have
the
to get a
ventilation
permit.
system, there's security around that. Fingerprint security. No?
No?
Okay.
Could be.
1 out of 10. You know what? 1 out of 10 dies, so I'm going to take that as my 1 out of 10. The other 9 out of 10
That's
are
it.
awesome.
Everything else is fine.
Awesome.
Everything else is fine.
I think that's Lady Gaga.
Yeah, it's a
Lady
Lady
Gaga. So we have Lady Gaga. Is that's Lady Gaga? Wow, she's doing like a little Beyonce hair thing. So that's important.
She looks like a lion.
You know what? I'm going to be looking for her on Fashion Police later this week.
Meow.
Was that your lion or your cat? Was that a lion or a cat?
That was just it was in the cat family.
Cat family,
Yeah.
panther, cougar, puma.
All right. Oh, good. It's time to start the retail discussion.
Oh, yay. How many stores have you opened up? In what countries?
Are you feeling the love?
You know what? I'm not here to pimp our live blog, but the photos are coming in quite nicely.
They
honestly.
are, actually.
So
The
Josh
photos are
Lowenson
outstanding.
is responsible for that. To give you guys visuals. So I'm happy with that. I feel like I'm there. Just
I
with
think
like
we
4
are here
cool
to pimp
people.
the live blog, aren't we? I think that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we
pimp the live blog.
No one wants you to hear you talk about your own shows. I mean, like, what shows do you do, Donald?
Whatever.
I did. Interestingly, I do have a tweet from Greg J. Turner saying that the event is being live streamed only in, and this is kind of dishy, Beijing, Berlin, and Tokyo.
Really?
Yep.
Can we move there? No.
I don't know.
We couldn't show it anyways, so.
No, I think that's very interesting. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Just to give you guys some stats about what he's talking about. Tim Cook is saying, as many of you know, we've been expanding our retail footprint outside the U.S. They're showing local stores serving 2,000 people per, I guess, looking at a local store serving 2,000 per day. This weekend it was replaced. This is their Stanford store, replaced by a much larger, more typically glass Apple store. And Apple's actually been doing this in some of their high concentration retail spaces, even in San Francisco. They're the Union Square store. They're taking that down and moving it over to the Levi's store on Union Square, and it's going to be this huge glass behemoth. And so they're kind of showing Stanford was one of the first ones, and they're kind of showing off that kind of really new modern design. If you look at the roof with like the long elongated kind of metal roofing and then all glass all around. And we've seen the all glass kind of wood combo in some other stores, but this one's truly like probably one of the most modern U.S. stores that I've seen when I look at that. So
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Hey, one more thing. I'm just covering the live blog, Molly.
I'm refilling. That's what I'm doing. There's
All
a
right.
lot of excitement about the new store, and he would like everyone to stop by.
And he says, y'all should head over. He actually, I know he would say y'all should head over. Give it to me, Beecham. Show it to me. This is our favorite Apple Store experience.
Now we're talking.
You guys know that lady? You know that lady?
Tim just told you guys that you can walk in.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that is outstanding.
We're moving over to iOS. He said we've been working hard on completing iOS 7. Of course, it's the latest version and the world's most advanced operating system. Next month, we will ship the 700 millionth iOS device. Big applause. iOS will quickly become the world's most popular mobile operating system. It's packed with amazing new features.
All right.
Let's talk to them while my voice
Getting
cracks.
right in. We're getting right into it. Sorta.
Get her in. Get her.
This is exciting. 700 millionth iOS device.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's Jinx 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Come on. You owe me a Coke?
You can't say anything. Seriously. Don't I have to say her name to unlock her?
I think she has to
sure.
buy you
Let's
a
say
Coke
yes.
to unlock
You have to buy me. How about buy me a mimosa? Done.
No,
Cheers to that.
do not.
I'll let you talk again, Molly. I'll let you talk.
Give him any more.
I was like, what do I do? This is like a scary new rule.
What if like Bonnie, our producer, went to buy a Coke for you?
She's out of here. Craig Federighi is up on stage, and they're moving into iOS 7 first. He says, soon we are going to witness an event almost really unprecedented in our industry.
Yes!
Yes! Now we're talking.
Where's the
Rose
epic
petals.
music? My
When
goodness.
virtually overnight, hundreds of millions of people download iOS 7.
And the millions and millions. This is good. This is great.
All right,
That's
so
exciting.
Recapping iOS 7 again.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, stop. You know,
I'm not trying to be negative. I'm
I
just
know,
saying,
I
like,
know.
this is what we're doing. I think that everyone who's tuning into this probably already knows about iOS 7. I wish I could tell them something new.
I could tell you something.
That was
new
the
in iOS
disappointment
7.
in my voice. Was like, oh, I can't tell you something wonderful that I'm sure you're wanting
No,
to hear.
we're going over the lock screen and
So,
home screen. And the
top 2 features that I use in iOS 7 that obviously Control Center is the number 1, but I use iTunes Radio a ton. And the reason why, I never thought I would, but because it's integrated into the music player and it's one click away, right? With Pandora, you got to go swipe, open an app, then get into it. Also, iTunes Radio, they play less ads. The ads are 15 to 30 seconds long and they're all music relevant. And that makes a difference when you're like,
interesting.
they'll tease, a new album from an artist. And yeah, some people may not like ads, but when it's actually a music ad and you're listening to music, it just feels a lot more seamless. Like,
Yeah, that makes
You
sense.
don't, it's not a
Because
pain
they
in
just
the
want
butt.
you to go buy more music from the iTunes store.
Yeah. And so I will say, though, using Pandora versus iTunes Radio, some artists, when you kind of choose and create a playlist based off an artist, I have found sometimes I like what iTunes serves me based on their algorithm, and sometimes I like what Pandora serves me based on their algorithm. It's kind of weird. Like Rihanna on iTunes
No, they're
Radio,
totally different,
nah. Rihanna on Pandora, yes. Boys to Men. These are artists that I listen to. Boys to Men.
Hypothetically?
All of a sudden, the stream count just dropped like a mother. Boys to Men on iTunes Radio. Yes. Boys to Men on Pandora. Nah.
Right.
So, it just
Interesting.
depends.
Meanwhile, Craig Federighi is still running through the iOS 7 features. They're really kind of leaning into recommendations that it can recommend where you need to go, your traffic, your weather conditions, talking about search and how you can search from the home screen, a la Android, versus the swipe to side of iOS 6.
This is really cool. Also, what we've done with our polls is we just put a poll at the top of our live blog to ask you guys, what do you think of iOS 7? I love the new look and feel. Gimme, or they ruined a good thing. So why don't you guys chime into that right now?
Please
while
do.
they're talking about iOS 7. We'd love to see, your impressions. Molly, what do you want me to click on for you here? Do you want me to say I love the new look and feel, gimme, or they ruined a good thing? I know there's nothing in between, but you're gonna have to pick.
I know. Why can't there be?
Because I made the poll.
Oh, I see. Well, then I'm going to say gimme because I want something new.
Okay, Here we go. 81% of respondents right now that are here in the live blog love the new look and feel.
Yeah.
Gimme.
I think there's something to be said there that they may have waited a little too long. They could have given us something a little sooner.
I think it's just that we want something new.
Yeah.
It is.
He's showing off now Siri getting pulled in from Twitter so that she can do Siri can search Wikipedia and search other sources. So you could actually search Twitter using Siri.
Yeah.
Or using your Martian passport watch. The only two-way one I've tried. I'm in the middle of a little comparison thing here, which is why I'm wearing the Pebble.
And wearing a
But I
matching
liked
top at that, too.
That the Martian, which was way prettier even though it didn't match my shirt, can do the two-way.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're talking about...
New notification sounds, Molly.
Notification sounds.
New
Thank
ringtones, new
goodness.
electronica ringtones.
They have, I've seen this feature on other phones, but, in iOS 7, when someone calls you, you can then, instead of answering it yes or no, you have options to, basically respond with quick mini messages like, I'm busy right now, or, I'll get back to you later, and it sends them a text message just by tapping it once, so it's nice. I mean, that's something that iOS people have not had. I know we have to always reiterate that, but people are going to jump on us if we don't.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so annoying.
Also, I mean, I know that we're poo-pooing the recap a little bit, but the recap is important because, as we said, the thing that's going to make this phone feel even more like a new phone is that it's going to have all of this new functionality. And, I mean, say what you will about the innovation factor. Yeah. The fact is that notifications, home searching, and searching by voice are features that make a phone really fun and useful. Yeah. Also, look, I love how when they crop the iPhone, it looks so much like a Nokia Lumia. And it's so pretty. I really like it. I'm like, I want you to make the iPhone look kind of like that. It's really cool.
Right now they're talking about the photo app. Gotta say, definitely the picture-taking app, a lot quicker. And then you can swipe left or right to choose from between the video mode, still picture mode, panorama mode, and then also they put in a square mode, which I totally use when Instagram generation. So it's one of the options built into the camera. And then you also have preset filters that you can do. They're also showing the new organization of the Photos app. It's pretty fun. I think that's the thing that's the most eye candy out of iOS 7, where when you zoom out, it organizes it by year. And then when you click into a specific year, it'll show it off by location.
And Scott Stein points out that that using the Photos app to group into moments and collections makes him wonder if iCloud is soon going to allow total library uploading or do anything useful related to photos at all.
Oh!
He didn't say that. That last part was me. That was editorializing.
Yeah.
I do.
But look, these are all my photos.
There's some airdrop photo sharing. Wow, that's pretty.
There you go. There, and then I'm not going to show you those because those are naughty ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take that phone
okay.
down.
Yeah, Mayday.
Twice about
I'm going to
it.
take that phone
Thinking
down.
Twice.
Now they're talking about the music app and how iTunes Radio is also built into iOS 7. So presumably,
and Brian Tong uses it all the time.
And they're playing
No, I'm
"Doing
serious.
It Right" by Daft Punk. So Daft Punk wins 2013, according to Scott Stein.
Everybody, that song. Do you know that jam? It's sick.
Yeah, no, I like that one.
It's sick.
Yeah,
it's probably the only song I like on that album, honestly. All right.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yep, keep it up. Keep it up, everyone. Joseph Del Mundo on Twitter says that iOS 7 looks a little too bright.
It does.
For his taste. It is definitely bright and shiny.
Yeah.
But again, the functionality is going to be where it's at.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, for people that are joining us just now, they're like, where's Apple's live stream? Apple is not doing their own live stream, so we are giving you play-by-play coverage with our live blog, with our live photos, with our live commentary of just what's happening. And right now they're just doing an overview of iOS 7, so you can check that out or watch the video on Apple's website.
I like how they played Rush Radio, and then there was applause for Rush. And Scott Stein's like, I've never heard so much applause for Rush.
All those Apple employees. Live performance from Rush later on. Maybe.
You never know. People are.
I don't know. I don't want Getty. I don't think Getty Lee has enough star power to sell a phone without scaring people.
Downloading iOS 7. This is a quote from Craig Federighi. Downloading iOS 7 is like getting an all-new device. One that's so much more useful and elegant than ever before. He does talk kind of glowingly. If you
I
ever
agree
heard
that it's like getting a new device.
It is.
Craig Federighi he's a fired up dude.
Yeah, he's good. He talks
I
a little
actually
smack.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I love that and apparently he made a great hair joke about himself, or there was like an inner joke about his great hair.
Date drop September 18th.
Ooh.
2 days roughly before the rumored iPhone 5S release, following the pattern from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So tell your friends on Twitter, September 18th.
September 18th.
If you're in New York, people are already in line. They were in line Friday last week. You know that?
What?
People were lining up for the new iPhone in New York at the New York Fifth Ave store on Friday last week.
Wow.
Dedication.
Man.
Or no.
That's one word for it.
That.
I know, we're
just
totally like,
feels like
cricket.
It's free. September.
We really do need a public mental health care system here. I think for some of these people.
Hey, was there Facebook dependency? There's like some new symptom
like diagnostic.
Yeah. People that have issues with that.
I can't believe that I bothered to tweet the fact, by the way, that iOS 7 would be available September 18th, because my entire Twitter feed right now is just like.
Okay, you know what though? You know what the real barometer is? How many people actually retweet it, even though everyone else is tweeting it.
Yeah, that's amazing. There is not a tweet in my feed currently visible about anything but iOS 7.
Okay, guys, Craig is off. Tim is back. Guess what? They're going to talk about iWork. We promised you we would take a call during iWorks.
Out.
We promised you would take a call during iWorks. Okay, are we going to do it?
Somehow I must have known.
Okay,
It's just
let's
been too
go.
long.
Let's go to Stuart. Stuart, what's going on, bro? Turn your volume down. Yes.
Turn your volume down.
Stuart, we got
I know.
you.
We surprised you.
You got to be ready for this.
We got to be speedy though, because this isn't going to last long.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering about the iPod line and whether or not the iPhone C is there to eliminate it.
Very good question. There's so much speculation about iPod Touch, especially now that the pricing with the Mini is so similar, and it's just it's right there in the sweet spot. Could iPhone 5C replace it?
So it'd be like iPhone 5 child.
Exactly. I was going to say, if that happens, what are you going to get the kids? But I guess you get the kids like the iPad Mini instead of the iPod Touch. They're the same price.
I mean,
you know what? I like it. It's bold. I'm going with it.
You're going to go with it?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no.
I'm saying parents aren't going to be buying their kids something that requires a monthly
contract.
fee.
No.
A contract.
Well, some parents are in the Silicon Valley, which deserve to get slapped.
But the iPhone 5C has the potential to be on prepaid carriers. It may not be an on-contract phone. This is, because prepaid is a huge growing market right now, and people are really into it. It would still require a monthly fee, which parents wouldn't like, but they could get an iPad Mini for basically the same price if they wanted a no monthly fee kind of
the
device.
price will be interesting how that plays out, because that could convince someone to do it. It's all price based, right?
I still ultimately though I don't think they're going to kill off the iPod dynasty for anything.
It'll kill off itself over time.
It'll just die in obscurity. They're not going to kill it off.
So here we go. Just looking at some pictures of what they're showing off with Pages. They also kind of previewed a beta for Pages in the cloud, so they're kind of showing how that integrates and works on your iOS device. Claim they made the best-selling mobile productivity apps. I don't know if that's true based on what. I don't know. I mean, are people really? If you had to compare it to, Office has their 365 subscription, which has kind of discouraged people from jumping on board right away.
I feel like they put the iWorks apps front and center in the store so often.
Yeah.
That I think that's really what helps sell these things.
Well, and
people buy them
I think people do buy it because it's really cheap.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I know, but do they use? I don't
think they use it.
I'll admit I have them, but I don't use them.
I have them. I sometimes use Keynote, and I use Pages, but only under threat of death.
Yeah.
It is really.
They don't say the most used apps.
But you use iOS on your desktop, not your phone, right?
I do want to go back really quickly, to iOS 7, because someone just tweeted me and said that it is apparently going to be available for iPad 4 and up only.
I thought I saw 2 and up.
Okay. I just want to check that. I don't know.
Guys, can you let us know? Can you tweet us?
Let us know. Tweet us and let us know, because I am definitely curious. If that's true, that's pretty rough.
I felt like when they announced it that they were being pretty generous with all the generations that they were supporting.
This is what the image I saw.
Okay, here we go.
iPad 2 and later. Thank you. So
iPhone
4 and later. iPad 2 and later. Thank you. That's an important correction. I appreciate that.
I mean, that's a
Good
thing where
information.
even we've seen with the beta, like, earlier generations typically don't perform as well. Like, they might be a little laggier, slower. But, we've seen in past where they just cut off the upgrade from, like, a generation before it. Where this is going to be at least an OS that can live on more devices, which is a good thing. What's up?
Time to talk iPhone already.
Let's
Scott
go.
Stein says that was fast, and there's a slide up that says iPhone.
All right.
Also, I don't think we might have missed this, or maybe I tuned out, but they said that they're making all those apps free that they were talking about.
Oh,
for the
really? Yeah,
iWorks
you're right.
app and iMovie and
on any
iPhoto.
new iOS device.
All right, here we go, guys. A recap of iPhone 5. They're talking about lots of changes, redesign, camera, etc. We will get to, obviously, those specifics. It took the iPhone business to an entirely new level, says Tim.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blue chart that we might get a picture of showing the increasing iPhone sales.
In the past, when we've launched a new iPhone, we lowered the cost of the old iPhone, making it more accessible to new people. But this year, we're not going to do that.
Hey.
Because
we're keeping all your money.
Yeah, because like he said it just to be a jerk.
They're saying,
this is it. This is the cheaper one.
Yeah. They're replacing the iPhone 5 with 2 devices. We're just going to wait it out.
Yeah.
This allows us to serve
like,
even more customers, quote by Tim. All right, here's an image that we have. They're showing just like a frame right now.
They're really teasing it.
Make it like the Lumia one.
But they're also showing that it's exactly the same size.
Yeah.
That's what you can pull from this. The phones will be both exactly the same size.
So, by the way, iPhone 5, they're replacing it.
Yes.
Like, it's going away. It's not going to be that thing where it stays for sale. Like, just to clarify, when he says they're not going to make it cheaper, it means it's also disappearing.
Yeah. Enter 2 new iPhones.
2 new iPhones.
Phil Schiller coming up on stage. It's the iPhone 5C. Yes, they're calling it that. That's one of them from our live blog.
So start having fun with your what the C stands for jokes now. We're like, cricket. There it is again. It kind of looks like, it looks a little like the copyright symbol, but slightly more squared off. iPhone 5 copyright. Good times. The iPhone 5C is made with all the incredible technology that customers have loved with the iPhone 5, but there's more to it. It has an incredible new design, one that's more fun and more colorful than anything we've made before other than the iMac.
His quote, a few of you might have seen some shots on the web, and that's cool. A few of you have maybe even seen a few of the shots on the web, and that's cool because everyone's really excited.
There you go. Wait. Press instead of secrecy gets people excited too? Get right out of this town.
Video of drippy paint colors and pastels is coming up for the audience inside.
Okay.
So we'll get a few shots of those drippy colors.
So what he basically just said is the pictures are right. Yeah. Oh, all those pictures?
And
yeah,
our security is awful.
And our security, we give up.
All
we
right.
give up on that.
Here we go. We have a poll here. I know we couldn't fit in everything, but we want to let you guys know as the announcement goes through, the iPhone 5C stands for iPhone 5 cheap or iPhone 5 classy. Oh, I think I know what's going to happen here.
iPhone 5 chunky.
The same colors that we expected: green, gray, light blue,
There's a picture.
peach-ish, and yellow.
Oh, they're calling it peach, not pink?
I guess so. Peach.
Okay.
Well, they're calling peach-ish.
Peach-ish?
Is
Oh,
what
that's
Scott,
an apple. That's
that's
an
Scott
apple color.
Stein's
Scott Stein is
official
calling it that, yeah.
verdict there. Peachish.
The buttons and controls on the side match the color too. It's a polycarbonate wraparound back that covers the sides.
By the way, the people in the chat room earlier were speculating whether they would use a fancy word for plastic.
Polycarbonate.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
polycarbonate, guys. Polycarbonate.
It's a specific type of plastic.
Gadzooks also points out in the chat room that we've cycled all the way back through to the iMac, which is true.
Nano status.
As close as you look, you will not see seams or part lines or joins. It's absolutely gorgeous. Ooh, and the wallpaper in iOS 7 matches the color of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get it and it comes out of the box,
gross.
that is adorable.
No,
I love that.
I don't want my
But will it
wallpaper
match
to look like barf.
Mollywood?
Look at the yellow. Look at that. That looks like yellow barf.
I think it's pretty.
That looks like barf. Look.
You know what though? This
The
is
iPhone-
why. This is where again I think you should up the durability of the device because I don't like to have. You don't want to have to use a color on this. Why
Well-
can't they be more durable?
The polycarbonate is going to be more durable. In fact, I think they should call this the iPhone 5 cracks less.
Oh, good one. Apple apparently
Maybe
the
that's
team
what the C stands for.
the team has created a really cool line of custom covers, which are silicone with a microfiber lining, and it has cutouts down toward the bottom.
Oh, so that's to play off the color, right? Look,
Yeah.
the case has these perforations these circles, we'll get a chance to see them, or you guys might even see them on the live blog. We showed it earlier.
Oh, you get like a two-tone look.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So they're up on the live blog now. If we can make that picture go away, you can see them with the
There you
little
go.
perforations.
God, the 80s are back.
I
Aren't they?
love that.
Which color combo you like right now? Hey, right now, let's go. Which color combo do you guys like the
Blue and
most right
green.
now? Blue green's got pretty hot. Yeah, I like that one.
I don't know. Whatever matches my dad jeans the best.
Blue and green. Blue and green.
Sports teams cases are going to go crazy off this stuff now.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They're gonna go buck
Scott
wild with
Stein
that.
already said that he loves the green one because he's an insufferable Jets fan.
That's too bad.
Inside, it's built with a new construction method that uses a steel reinforced structure that provides incredible rigidity.
Yes, I love that word.
That also forms the antenna.
Can you say it again?
Rigidity.
Yes.
You have to pick the color and the accent case color so that it's a set. I love that, you guys. What a clever way to. I'm sorry, I know I'm totally like a nerd here, but way to do a clever take on having colored phones. You get 2 colors.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Girl.
Oh man, seriously, the 80s vibe is hitting me a little bit too extreme here.
All right, just a quick
but it's
thing.
on trend.
If you guys want to check out the poll that we have here, iPhone 5C right now, the audience is saying iPhone 5C cheap 71%, iPhone 5 classy 29%. It might be that's what I'm seeing. Then okay. People might like the color scheme is classy. All right, they're talking about some of the innards and improved front-facing FaceTime HD camera, larger pixels for better low light performance and better audio too. A6 chip is going to be in there, blazing fast, console level graphics.
The antenna, by the way, is built into the structure, and Gil SD in the chat room points out because putting the antenna on the structure worked before beautifully.
Right, no problem.
Beautifully. It supports more LTE bands than any other smartphone in the world. 100 megabits per second download. Whoa! Dual band Wi-Fi also.
No
Could
AC.
This be?
No AC on the iPhone 5C for now.
Wow. But Tim Stevens is wondering, could this be a single phone for Apple worldwide? And I don't know about that, but it certainly suggests that this is meant to be the global, inexpensive phone. It is the 16
the global
gig,
burner phone.
We have some pricing. The 16 gigabyte version is priced at $99.
Okay.
The 32 gig for $199 on
Okay.
contract, which I have to say is not that cheap.
So that's $100 less than the kind of typical standard pricing with an iPhone. $199 for a 16 gig, $299 for 32.
And the cases are not included. They're $29.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So,
all right.
But Molly, you were so amped about the color. You're gonna get the color for the $29.
Well, yeah.
Don't
if
fail
you're
me
gonna
now.
get it, you're gonna get the thing. But I gotta say, this pricing does not impress me. Like, if this is the iPhone cheaper,
Yeah.
$99 is.
Well, here's the thing. This
That's
is
the new cheap.
This is just like sunsetting the iPhone 5 as the lower tier model. Like in the past, when they had the 4S to the 5, the 4S became that price, the 99 price point, and the 5 became the 199. So this is essentially doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just with instead of using an iPhone 5, they're kind of trying to reinvigorate that with this new design, which appeals. Well,
yeah,
that's
it's
a
just
new way
that
to spin it.
that's your only option now, right? Like, if you wanted the nice glass back and the kind of cool old, I don't know.
Go on eBay.
Go on eBay. It's true. They'll be there, and they'll be, unlocked and whatever. Phil says that the devices are toxin-free. They're touting the environmental record of them. They're toxin-free, arsenic-free, mercury-free, and also, he says, Android-free.
And that's totally wrong because I think there's a lot of Android in this particular OS. Right?
Oh, good
Just
one.
saying.
Oh, Donald Bell. So harsh.
Good one.
Pretty Androidy.
So harsh.
We believe, he says, that the iPhone is an experience, and an experience is defined by the hardware and software working together harmoniously. Oh, it's Johnny Hive.
Is that-
Of course.
we-
Do your
we-
thing.
I can't
Go.
You can't give it to me on the spot. I can't.
Oh yeah, that's how you have
I
to
can't do it on the
Working
spot.
together harmoniously.
We believe.
I can't do it right now.
He's
I
talking
can't-
about
I can't do it right
dynamically
now.
blurring the boundaries between the two. He's all blurred lines up in here.
iPhone 5C is beautifully, unapologetically plastic.
Ooh.
Multiple parts have been reduced to a single polycarbonate component whose surface is continuous and seamless.
Yeah.
All right, no more Johnny Brives.
I like it.
I don't like Johnny Brives. He's done. He's dead to me.
Instant thoughts from Scott Stein. The cases make the design a lot cooler. I agree, and it could add some additional Moto X design stylings, like some customization. Maybe.
Yeah, it's the Starbucks of iPhones.
We're seeing, according to Tim Stevens, a lot of slow pans with ridiculous macro shots as per usual. And good luck, he says, ever getting your iPhone this cleaned.
This is Nike ID for iPhones. That's what it is.
interesting.
Nike ID for iPhones.
I don't know. It's kind of cool.
No, it's cool. I mean, I'm not in the market to be someone who's gonna purchase this, but I think it's cool for that market who they're trying to target and serve instead of just giving us an iPhone 5. I don't know.
It's new. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
what can you
for those of
complain
you who
about
are
new?
wishing that there was a new thing, there's definitely a new thing here. Now we're seeing, though, the manufacturing process of it getting molded. There is a steel frame that's actually glued in.
Scott Stein talking about how he could see this being more bounce friendly. It's polycarbonate. It's just gonna get dented pretty nice and nasty.
They say it's a solid, dense feel that you would not expect from a plastic product.
Right now, the poll has shifted a tiny bit. iPhone 5C cheap is getting 69%, classy getting 31%. So there's the classy is bumped up a little bit.
But I mean, as much as they're really trying to reframe this idea of a plastic phone still being luxurious or in the Apple, way of doing things, they have like deliberately gone out of their way to not make plastic phones for like 4 years now, right?
I know, I agree. I think it's like we kind of alluded to earlier. It's the changing of how Apple's doing things, right? From a mature business where they're trying to, instead of have that one single model now, right? They're diversifying their model line, and they need something because I think it's just their progression.
I don't think it dilutes the brand to. There's been that argument, right, that it would dilute it, that it would sort of fragment the iPhone ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that it's good to give people options, and that Samsung, one of the ways that has been able to make his mark is by putting out just a bajillion phones and saying, like, no matter who you are, we have something for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually think that the additional options are really good, and to offer like a really premium product and then a product that's more accessible is smart, and that these are kind of stylish.
Yeah, I mean, we used to
Can't believe I'm
criticize
saying
Apple
all
all the
this,
time of not giving people choice.
Mhm.
I mean, that was one of the main hits against them. So, they're learning. They're under a new regime. They're giving people choice. So
They're talking about the specs now, saying battery life is, quote, impressive, but we have not seen any specific.
That's awesome. No. I like that.
Specific stats yet.
Rigidity, specifical.
iOS 7 is designed to complement the iPhone 5C perfectly. The wallpaper and translucency brings it all together to provide, quote, the right experience.
It probably looks those sexy videos probably look cool in person.
I'm sure
I'm not
they
gonna
do.
lie.
I know, but it's like for a guy just having seen Johnny Ive like just wax poetic about a chamfered aluminum bezel for like the past 2 years. Like I have a hard time believing that he was able to film that video with a straight face the entire time. It's like
He doesn't care.
Yeah. I was told to make a
it's
cheap
like those-
plastic iPhone,
it's
and
like
I
those-
did the best I could.
It's
Okay.
like those Brad Pitt like commercials.
Oh,
They just give him words and he says them. Like,
What
he
was
doesn't care
that?
anymore.
Was
He's
that
getting
cologne
paid.
perfume or something? What
Yeah.
was it? What's
I
it
don't know,
called?
Chanel or
it's
something.
Yeah.
Onto the
Chanel
iPhone.
number 5.
Chanel
That's
number
what it was.
5. Onto the iPhone 5S.
Here we go.
The most forward-thinking phone we've ever created. In fact, the most forward-thinking phone anyone has ever made, says Phil Schiller.
I mean, in their
Well,
eyes, yeah.
that's subtle.
It's built in a design that is absolutely the most beautiful and stunning design in the entire phone industry. The video melting metal. We're seeing some liquid metal, definite gold and champagne colors in this video. If it's the most beautiful,
Oh, yeah, champagne.
gold
Wait,
and white,
I'm going to refill.
I want to see that. Give it. Go.
I thought she was just going to the bottle on that one.
Just a little bit.
Un poquito. And then
Champagne.
And you made juice.
And yes, they have confirmed there's a new home button that's a part of this design. Now, our live blog hasn't confirmed if it actually physically looks different, but they are saying silver,
Like, is that the gold one?
and black.
I'm seeing a picture. It doesn't look much
Interestingly, yeah, it's the old design. Same design.
Same design. But this is what.
But a
we've been-
slightly
With
gold.
diamond cut chamfered edges,
Oh, for
just like the
God's sake.
iPhone 5.
Chamfered. Like chamfered is a word like that we need
It
to
is.
know.
Oh.
It is.
High grade aluminum, et cetera, et cetera. But you can see that the coloring there is very subtle.
Scott Stein picks out that there's no square on the home button, which might be an indication that the home button is.
Guess what? It's
morphed
the
into
gold
something.
standard in smartphones. Get it?
Nice one, Phil. Good one. Silver, gold, and a space gray. Tim Stevens postulates that the fact that black is no longer there might be because it was too scratchy.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I thought that this current iPhone was, out of all the iPhones I had, was the one that was able to get beat up the most, which is normal use. Scratches, the nicks on the side.
Yeah. No, it definitely got jacked up.
It was the most
easily.
beat up phone. I mean, I've got to imagine other people can maybe chime in and let us know because it would by far. Normally, I don't replace my phone, but I had to do it twice already. So,
All right. So the gray is called Space Gray.
Yep, Space Gray.
Because it's like space. All right, A7 is on board. It's going to be a 64-bit chip.
Wow.
So this will be the first 64-bit chip in a mobile phone. This is actually pretty badass. Cool.
Bad. Cool.
I mean,
This
even
is
though
our
we
first
may,
instance of him being actually excited.
we
He's like,
yeah,
whoa.
this is we may or may not. See,
No,
but
that's
this
a
is
big
cool.
leap.
This is cool. This is
Yep,
cool.
definitely.
Man, where should I start my eBay auction already?
Oh, no. And this is also where like
You might
all
as
the
well.
app developers are now like busily working away at 64-bit compatible apps. And
PC World, this is a quote from Schiller. The PC World made the transition from 32-bit to 64-bit, and it took years. Today, you're going to see that Apple is going to do it in one day.
Get right out of this tent because we
One day.
Because we built our own operating system and we built our own phone. Like, come on, that's just specious.
It's so true. I gotta imagine though this first gen, how are you gonna really see this fully take advantage
That's
of
what
it
I think.
right
Yeah,
now?
I mean,
initially.
Scott Stein says it's interesting to see how 64-bit plays out. What's interesting to me is to see whether consumers will notice at all, right? I mean, I think they're going to notice if their phone works faster. But are they going to get? I don't know, something that could really take advantage of that power, like true multiple processes, and I doubt it.
The A7 is a desktop class architecture, ARM instruction set that's more efficient, 2 times general purpose registers, because I know what that means. 2 times floating point registers and over 1 billion transistors. 102 millimeter die.
They just say that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because
I
they're
know.
trying to wow you with words.
While they're wowing us with words, you guys, we have another poll up on our live blog. What do you think of the iPhone 5S? We know they haven't completely given us, all the details, but already from the start, we're talking about a brand new processor inside, new color. So we'll keep following that to see what you guys think about this. But I got to say, honestly, this is pretty cool so far.
The other good news, though, for developers and for people with a big app library is that it is backwards compatible. So it will run 32-bit apps. It's not going to leave you in the dust that way.
But it looks like Apple's retooled all of their own apps for the phone for 64-bit. So at least their apps, that's probably the best way you'll be able to test this thing or get a glimpse at what 64-bit is going to mean for the phones just through what they've developed.
And it is interesting because every other phone, as Scott Stein points out, not every other phone, but all the other flagship phones have been going, they are doubling down on quad core, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
quad core because they're not as in control of the operating system. It makes more sense for them to just have a really fast processor, whereas Apple can actually optimize its OS for a 64-bit phone. And I cannot wait to see the side-by-side comparisons about who's getting more performance.
This is crazy. So we just got a chart that's posted up here. They're saying that this chart, the 5S has 56 times the performance of the original iPhone. That's the original, but here they're comparing, 40 times performance if you jump from, is that iPhone 5 to iPhone 5S? Is that what they're trying to show? I can't, we're just looking at that graph right now.
Yeah, I think so.
But this...
Oh, it's all the way back from iPhone to iPhone 3G to 3GS to iPhone 4 to 4S to 5 to 5.
Either way, it's a massive leap. I mean... You always want to see charts look that high.
Also, OpenGL ES 3.0 for gaming.
Oh, nice. All right, here we go. They're going to do a demo of Epic Games, their friends. What was that name?
There
of
it
that
is.
Demo.
What was the name of that
Drink.
game? You know that game where you slash the swords? What was that name again? You know what I'm talking about?
Fruit Ninja?
No. It was... You're like the warrior characters. They always show them for the demo.
Oh,
Come on.
the whatever blade.
Infinity Blade.
Infinity Blade.
Infinity Blade demo.
Show
Time
us
for
Infinity
Infinity
Blade.
Blade.
Infinity Blade 3.
Infinity Blade.
Infinity.
But it's Epic Games.
The quote, yep, here we go. Infinity Blade 1 and 2 have delighted tens of millions of players. Today, my brother Jeremy and I are thrilled to show the epic conclusion.
No way.
There are other games out there.
Oh my goodness, that is hysterical.
If they've got a sure thing every time they show this that wows people, then why change it?
It's gonna be like, I mean, who knows? I can't see the demo. I don't know what it looks like. Here's a picture for you guys.
Wow,
Polygon count looks higher on the characters than what most iOS games look like. That I can tell because they actually have like a rounded booty and boots.
Quit it.
All right. So there's some still shots, or I guess there are probably obviously video that's showing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be a big deal for gaming. I wonder how much that's going to up the ante on battery life, though, too. I mean,
Yeah.
if the games get more complicated and more demanding.
Yeah.
How's the processor optimized for that?
Yeah.
There was a rumbling before when specs leaked out that this new iPhone 5S would have 250 hours of standby battery, where the previous 5 has 225. So it gets a little boost. I mean, that's standby, right? So
Right.
that's basically a day extra standby, which in real world, what does that mean? Maybe 2 hours? I don't know. Who knows, depending on how you use it.
Yeah.
But they're still talking about the phone. Let's go check out our poll right now. I have it pulled up here of what people are thinking about the iPhone 5S right now. 52%, although very early, and it'll change, says Apple has done it again. 31% not impressed. 17% is I'm happy with my Android phone.
Huh.
So we'll keep an eye on that as more features are announced, or how that changes and shifts.
A 64-bit. That's pretty remarkable. I
Yeah,
have to
on
admit.
a phone, that's pretty sick.
And OpenGL is remarkable too because it's huge for gaming. It really lets people do a lot of awesome game development that they couldn't do before. I still keep coming back to battery life though. I think that's a really good point. And I want them to talk more about it. They sort of mentioned it with the
C.
5C, right? It's going to have great battery life.
You know what? Also, I've got to imagine the 5C battery life is probably very similar to the 5 because of the chips inside, and really, it's going to come down to, okay, maybe we optimize the OS a little bit, so you're going to get a little better on the 5C versus the 5.
Yeah.
But we really have to see it jump up in the 5S if it's to make it compelling, right?
I just want to, just talk about it. Like, I guess I just don't understand why battery life specifically is not more of a focus with these guys because it's such a huge consumer element. Like, sure, it can be fast, but if it dies by noon, I guess I just don't care.
Yeah. I also feel like this is, I would love to see the 64-bit in the iPad, especially when it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to see that at some point. But it being in the phone and the battery life already being so critical in the phone. And also, I feel like right now, if I was Samsung, the thing I would come right back with was like, if you want to see games, if you're really into gaming on your phone, wouldn't you rather see it on a bigger screen
for
than
God's
see
sake?
all that polygon count on like this, what seems like a very constrictive little environment.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
we
iPhone
haven't heard, they haven't said what the size is, but it looks as long and skinny as the 5S ever did. And the 5C does also. I mean, I will be amazed if this screen does not get any bigger.
Yeah, it looks exactly like.
But it looks the same.
But yeah,
they would have touted that.
I
early.
do think that 64-bit and the OpenGL and the gaming performance, all that is going to be really meaningful when you see it integrated into a new iPad.
It'll be amazing when I see it. The detail on the fruits, like the passion fruit has not been rendered properly in Fruit Ninja, so I'm looking for improvements there.
Yes.
All right, so apparently on stage they have managed to successfully and gorily kill a dragon, so that's exciting, and that was Infinity Blade 3.
What was that? That's not the name of the game, Molly. What's the name of the game?
Infinity
Blade
3.
Tres. Cine de Español.
They've just finished putting the final touches on Infinity Blade.
You didn't prep me. You didn't look at me. I need to
And
that
it
out.
will be available. I just want to make sure I get it right every
Okay.
time. And it will be available in the App Store alongside the new iPhone 5S. It's a launch day game.
Phil is back. That is a level of graphics performance you have never seen before on a mobile device. All right. But that's not the end of the story in the architecture. We have a completely new part in the iPhone called the M7. All right. We're going to find out what this is about. What? Is this the fingerprint part? Or what? Who knows?
I'm guessing. I feel like it's M, maybe like 007.
Mobile?
A mobile,
Is it like
a
a-
motion co-processor, which enables a new generation of health and fitness apps. They're going quantified self.
All right.
It's a motion coprocessor. It aggregates and monitors accelerometer, gyroscope, and compass data and offloads it from the A7. So it's its own dedicated chip to capture all this. Interesting.
Scott Stein, by the way, his comment in the live blog is, aha.
Aha!
So it's your new fuel band.
Yay.
It will track your motion.
Yeah, Nike and all those are thrilled about this.
Just in the interest of fairness, Samsung has this. They have the
Yep.
S Health app
Yep.
that also does the same, and it came on by accident to my S4 the other day, and I was like, oh my god, it's totally been tracking my steps. How exciting! A new core motion API that identifies user movement and provides optimizations based on contextual awareness. I just want that sentence to be in every PowerPoint I ever do.
Please do.
Optimize
Oh,
it
we
based
have-
on contextual awareness.
We have optimizations based on contextual awareness.
They're
Does that work
working,
for
uh,
anything or no?
No, I don't know. They're working with Nike to make a new Nike Plus move. This is interesting because, okay, S Health was there. People really didn't use it or seek
even
it
know
out.
about
Seek
it.
it out, right?
Yeah.
And even if Apple bundles this in, I mean, what people aren't buying phones right now as fitness phones, right?
Mhm.
I think just from the surface, and I mean, I have fitness wristbands. This is kind of like a nice add-on. Is this a differentiator to you right now?
Well, I think this is the death knell for the watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is, they're saying, we know you want to do quantified self. We're going to build it in as an app. Maybe you don't want a wearable because you like to wear a watch or whatever the reason is. We're going to do it all on the phone because we just want you to buy this one thing. It is kind of cool that the phone could potentially do, track the fuel points and let you compete with friends. It integrates the Nike Plus Move app into Game Center, which to me is actually the death knell for that app. But nevertheless.
All right, here we go, guys. Battery life talk. Yeah, so this is kind of what we alluded to in the rumors earlier. Equal or greater than the iPhone 5 video had. iPhone 5 had 10 hours of 3G talk time, 10 hours of LTE browsing, 10 hours of video. The standby number is the one that at least stands out as bigger, 250 standby hours. I don't know all the breakdowns for each of those categories. I don't think they're matching them up, but the iPhone 5 did have 225 hours of standby. So
really hardly an improvement.
Yeah, it's subtle, yeah. And I mean, form factor wise, right? They clearly probably didn't really change the battery. It might be more just optimization on the processor itself and the operating system.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, frame it in the way I'm sure they're framing it, which is like we delivered the first 64-bit phone and we didn't lose a single hour of battery life. Isn't that amazing?
It's gonna get better.
They should say that, but I think it's because it's not true. All right. Now they're talking about the camera. I mean, we're gonna test it, and you will see.
Yeah.
They are now moving on to the camera. People love taking photos with their iPhones and its eyesight camera. It used to be the way you took better pictures was you learned to take better pictures. So they're going to do that whole Google thing now where the phone makes the pictures better.
All right.
He's showing all the gear you have to buy and the training you would need to learn how to take good photos. What a pain in the butt to have to learn how to do this skill like by yourself. For the people who want to do this, that's great. For most of us, we just want to take a better picture. So there's now a new 5-element Apple-designed lens with an f2.2 aperture, a 15% larger sensor, bigger pixels. He says our competitors would just pack more pixels onto that sensor, but that's not what we do.
Dumb.
It's dumb. We know it. We know a secret.
We know what to do.
We know it's actually bigger pixels that make a better picture. Tim Stevens points out that is a secret that HTC and some others also know.
I've been doing for the past year now.
That's actually not a secret. So the pixels are larger in order to capture more light. I mean, I'm being snarky here, but the camera is the reason that I have never moved away from my phone. That's the reason that I still carry one. Like I'm totally over it.
You just keep the iPhone around for the camera.
New, but the camera is so good.
And you have to say, I've heard you say this before too. That's not really just about the hardware of the camera itself, but the way that Apple processes the image and just has that magic mojo that somehow just makes a better image as the end result. And I feel like a lot of companies have caught up with that.
Yep.
But Apple, I think, was the first to really be able to have that ability of even crappy photos coming out better than you expected.
Right. All right. So speaking of which, the camera app will now automatically set the white balance and exposure before you even take a picture as soon as you open the app. A dynamic local tone map, autofocus matrix metering.
Of course.
And now the claim that it is SLR level stuff.
Oh, come on. You didn't have to do that.
It's SLR level stuff. When you do take a picture, unbeknownst to you, it actually takes multiple pictures. It picks the sharpest one and it gives you that one. What if you want a blurry picture, like for artsiness? There's a True Tone flash. That is all new.
True Tone. Trademark. Patent pending.
Patent pending.
Man, that was so exciting. I almost wet myself.
I know.
Well, their camera is now SLR level, Brian.
SLR level.
SLR level?
That's what he says.
That's what he dropped there.
Did they drop 4K video on us yet?
No.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll have a new name for it, though.
The iPhone SLR. iPhone 5 SLR. Gonna add some more letters. The iSlur? The iPhone 5 slur?
The iSlur. That's the champagne talking. Right. Whatever color your flash is, it's going to clash with the color of the room and give you a color that doesn't look right. So this new True Tone flash apparently seems to analyze and then present the proper color flash. It's dual element cool and amber and offers 1,000 possible color temperatures.
This is pretty interesting.
That's crazy.
I mean, the iPhone has always been touted as one of the best. It's changed over time, camera phones, and that was one of those spots where they want to keep on top of that game as being touted as that, because even when they had a lower megapixel camera, people would still, the proof was in the pudding. The pictures look better, but now they're amping it up even higher. So this is they need to do this to keep competitive with what else everyone has thrown out there. 41 megapixels.
I still will say, just from the little I know about cameras, the exact worst place you want to have a flash is right next to the lens of the camera, right? I mean, that's why pro photographers have the flash so far separated away. But there it is.
So this picture above, we're looking at some examples. Is the one I'm guessing the one on the left is with the iPhone 5 and the one on the right is with the 5S? These two girls?
I assume so, yeah. I love that they would actually, I mean, they're like, yeah, we should make our old camera look crappy. Because, people...
You know what they need to work on? I don't know about you, but do you guys get blinded by the iPhone flash specifically? Like, that thing is so dang bright.
I never use that flash.
Oh, it's brutal.
See, I actually never use the flash because of all the things that they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if it actually gets any better. What I do want to know is whether they're going to get rid of the purple halo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's afflicted a lot of phones. That's afflicted a lot of phones, actually.
There's also a burst mode, then the auto pick for blur reduction.
Oh, burst mode, nice. So that's like a lot of the phones have had that.
Yeah.
They've called it like the action camera or
burst mode. That's what they called it.
Or that's what they've always called it.
It's kind of always just been called burst mode.
Well, no, I mean the HTC One calls it like the Zoe
Yes,
mode.
Correct. I don't even know what that Zoe is referenced, and I hope it's not Rachel Zoe.
I think it's a reference to like zoetrope,
camera
shots, animations.
All right, so they're doing, I'm not going to say it's similar to Google's algorithm, but when you use this burst mode, it's going to analyze your photos and then pick the best one for you. Okay. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. And Scott Stein makes a great note, right? They still have yet to talk about this home button. They're saving it. They're going to save it for
it's
the last.
The thing.
It's the best.
The thing.
Ooh, we get a 120 frame per second slow mode.
That's badass.
Video mode.
That was a rumor that was out a long time ago, so that'll be fun, actually.
A lot of this also exists
Galaxy
in the Galaxy and the Nokia, the Lumia 1020.
Yeah, I feel like
has all these modes.
All of this is just catch up, but they have to do in order to be competitive.
Yeah,
with all
I mean,
the
it's
other phones
because
that are out
just to make it will come off as like amazing and new, but a lot of this is catch up, and these are things that have made those other cameras in the Windows Phone cameras and the Galaxy cameras so fun to use.
Yeah, I'm really curious.
So I'm happy is what I'm getting at. That is
I know, right? We have to preface this.
God.
We're not just being haters.
Sure. I know you hate
pointing
that
things
when I'm
out
like,
that there are other phones on the market that do things.
All right, update to the latest poll here. It looks like it's skewed a little differently, just by a couple percentage points. 50% says Apple has done it again. Not impressed, 32%. I'm happy with my Android phone, 18%. We'll keep you guys posted.
Yes, we will. Thanks for doing the polls, everybody. You can find those in our live blog, news.cnet.com. Links straight to it.
So they're doing some little demo videos showing a variety of different shots, macro, flower shots, jellyfish. What, does it work underwater?
It should.
And, all they have to do is, because we were at CES last year and, we saw those companies that are OEMs that will coat the parts for like the Sony Xperia Z, right? They have the coating on all the parts.
I don't know why phones are not ruggedized. I just don't get it. And I think that it's, actually, I do know why. It's because they want you to buy more phones. Like, it's just a scam. Like, I think they're deliberately making these devices more fragile than they need to be because they want you to buy a new one every year to 2 years. They could all be ruggedized. Not even indestructible, but at least ruggedized.
I have for these camera features in particular is how many of these are going to translate over to the 5C? Are these like iOS 7 features that are going to kind of roll out to everything?
This looks 5S to me.
Yeah.
Because of hardware-wise, right?
Yep.
Hardware-wise, because the flash isn't in the 5C.
Maybe, but I think some of that's BS too. if they're for like burst mode, like why wouldn't you be able to have burst mode?
That's software. I totally agree.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll be a mix.
Get it?
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. All right.
The jellyfish picture is pretty impressive. That's always hard to get.
Like, based on our still capture screenshot from another camera.
Look, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get a jellyfish picture.
Hey, let's go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
At the
all right?
aquarium? Seriously.
Yeah, let's go. Let's take
That's
this
a
to
good
the aquarium
test.
right now.
Pretty pictures.
They have a picture
Pretty
of a
pictures.
squirrel. I don't know how, like someone said, how do you get that close to a squirrel?
That's a giant
It was
squirrel.
like in its face.
I like our live blog actually saying, like, I wouldn't get anywhere near that close to a ground squirrel.
Squirrels can have rabies.
The third feature is all about security.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yes.
Securita. Here comes the fingerprint discussion, we assume.
Did they say what megapixels the camera was? I
They
was
did
gone.
not.
I was gone. So
They said,
they were
I'm
like-
assuming that it remains 5. He talked about
Right.
how it's
You
not
mean
more
eight?
megapixels,
Eight?
it's more. Oh, is it 8?
8. Yeah, it's 8 right now.
We're up
Yeah.
to 8 now? Okay.
I think they were talking about how like our competitors would just pack in more pixels here, but
Yeah.
what we're doing is
We
making
know
the
a
pixels bigger and
secret.
better.
I miss the old days, says Phil Schiller, when documents were actually paper and you could lock them up places
Well,
and
that's your
protect them.
honestly, Phil. That's your fault. You
Okay,
made the
Grandpa.
iPad, fool. He's like, I miss the days of paper.
It's
you
my
guys
fault.
released the
Yeah.
iPad
What?
to replace paper.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey. You killed paper.
Bad apple.
And then he's got a picture of like
Bad apple.
He's got a picture of like spy junk, like briefcase with the handcuffs.
Oh,
Passcodes, he says, are too
Agreed.
cumbersome. Half of customers don't set them up. The most common way forces you to set up a passcode, something you do dozens of times a day to unlock and get access to your phone. Unfortunately, people find that too cumbersome and they don't set it up. So now we have a fingerprint sensor called Touch ID.
According to the rumors, that's what it
Yeah.
was going to be named. Touch ID
I know.
is confirmed.
Ding, ding,
officially.
ding. Rumors.
Oh, look at the icon.
And then Touch ID
guys.
has a really pretty icon.
Yeah, that's my finger in a perfect circle.
It kind of looks like the bacteria that are swarming on your
Apple
phone.
can even improve the look of your finger.
My finger is a perfect circle.
Perfect circle.
Touch ID, perfect
Yes.
circle.
The only drawback is you have to shave your finger into a
It's
circle.
also two-tone from pink maroon to orange.
Oh, here's a regular size fingerprint. Though.
Okay.
A regular oval one.
Oh, that's no fun. Touch ID made it a perfect circle.
It reads your fingerprint. Now they're going to even read your fingerprint better. At a very detailed level, 500 PI, it scans subepidermal skin layers.
Jeez.
And we
It's a
store it in a
Touch ID.
server on their database.
Exactly. I will say, like, a lot of people have noted that given all the NSA stuff, they're like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Not doing
But
that.
let's, we should ask a question at the end of the show. Will you not buy an iPhone 5S
Because
because
you're-
of the fingerprint? They'll also say, hell no. I'll buy that iPhone 5S.
I know.
You know?
It scans in 360 degrees, so you don't have to have the orientation right, and it can learn multiple fingers.
This is their acquisition of Authentech,
Mhm.
who specialized in fingerprint security and authorization. So this is, I think it was about a little over a year ago where they acquired them. So this is integrating that acquisition into their hardware.
Now we have it. And yes, it is built right into the home button. It's still a physical button that you need to push down, but there's a metal ring that senses your finger.
There's a sapphire cut lens, just like the camera, to protect it. So over the top, it'll have a sapphire lens. I mean, to me, it's pretty amazing. A lot of these features were, to the point and specific. Sapphire cut lens, the 120 frame slow-mo video. I mean, these were all leaked over the past 2.5 months.
The secrets
and they
are
have
over.
been dead on.
Also, no more swipe at all. You just touch the home button and it unlocks the phone.
And you can use it for iTunes purchases.
Oh, that's cool.
Here we go, right? Right, guys? Mobile payment behaviors.
Yeah.
Get them going. I'm saying.
Yeah, train them. Train them now.
Train them.
Get them, start them early. Even better, you don't need to enter your password at all when you buy things anymore. You just use your thumbprint, just to clarify. I like that. I want that.
At least, they didn't do the eyeball sensor, so fingerprint's easier.
That's coming next.
I like
the
the
eyeball
fingerprint
Yeah.
sensor.
I know. I love it.
This is actually pretty cool.
After we sear your retina with our flash on our camera, we'll then scan it.
Yeah, but it will be a color accurate searing.
This is cool. This is cool. I mean, people who live in the Apple ecosystem, it's the whole behavior thing right here.
Or even who don't. I mean, it is really cool. They say they want apps to I lost it. Scott Stein says, I want all apps to use it for easy app purchases. Hopefully they will integrate this into the developer kit so that developers can use it for other apps too.
For sure. That's great.
Johnny Ive is back on video again. See, I'm telling you, he doesn't even bother to show up for these things. They just give him a word, a script, and it's got words in it.
Finger.
And then he's like,
What
every
could
single
possibly
technology, every process has been measured to make sure that it actually enhances a user's experience. Your fingerprint is one of the best passes in the world. It's always with you, and no two are exactly alike.
What could be easier than a finger? What? Did that resonate with you?
Everything I've
Did that
done
hit home?
before
No, just
is crap.
Out of context sounds a little weird.
Mayday.
That's all I'm saying.
We are once, and I'm the perv in the room.
No.
What is going on?
Let it
here?
go.
I thought Beecham was.
Let it go.
They're showing demos of unlocking and purchases. It looks to take just a moment to read your finger, supposedly learns your fingerprint and gets better. Just like Siri learns your speech and gets better.
It gets better. Over
I'm
time.
sorry, I had
It
to,
always
guys.
does.
You know what I'm talking about. I had
I
to.
know.
It's
Anil Dash on Twitter says, we're combining the reliability of iCloud with the assurance of storing your biometric data on servers under NSA jurisdiction. Magical.
honestly, I mean, I'm looking at this
You're
phone
going
and
to
this is
love it.
sick. This is, I mean, yes, it looks just like the iPhone 5, but there's some sick stuff in here.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. Feeling it.
Now they're pitching the iPhone 5S as the most secure phone, which Scott Stein points out is a big marketing advantage.
As long as what the data is stored. I mean, what could someone do with your fingerprint?
Yeah, I feel like of all the things my phone does to spy on me, like knowing where I live and where I go every day is probably a lot more of a security risk or something I'm afraid of than fingerprint. Fingerprint's only if, like, oh my God, I have to flee the country and under an assumed name.
I think they try to take your fingerprints at Disneyland and stuff, I heard.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. Or something like that.
I mean, I gave my fingerprint away on, at a wedding when you make that tree for friends and you put your finger in the green stamp. I gave that away.
How many times has Columbo taken a fingerprint just off of a beer can or something?
A lot.
Just solve a mystery.
You could definitely complete the identity theft loop with it, I guess, but it is a high level of paranoia.
This is cool.
Making something as important as security so effortless, so simple. We believe that technology is at its very best and most empowering when it simply disappears.
Right.
I mean, I agree. Like, I want passwords of all stripes to disappear.
Right.
I want my next MacBook Air to have this too, so that I don't have to log into every freaking website.
I think that we're going to see that
everywhere.
Hey
But
guys,
this is the first time
they said there's
Exactly.
one
This
more
is the
big
start.
piece of technology coming.
All right, what could it be?
Apple's teasing
Really?
one more thing.
Wow.
Or-
So the big three have an A7 camera and Touch ID. Also, you're fired because
Mhm.
you said one more thing.
I did not. I'm not fired yet.
You did it to me.
I think with A7 to 64-bit specifically is what's really cool about that, right?
Yes, definitely. Good clarification. Also, they mentioned, by the way, that fingerprint information is never stored in the cloud or passed to the full iPhone system.
I mean, it's a good distinction to make.
It's important that they made that distinction because everybody, of course, is immediately going to be
Because
like,
I think
wait,
they're
what?
they're not just selling it to us; they're selling it to all the companies that are going to be buying them in mass to roll out to their,
Mhm.
as like an enterprise option.
I just got some props for my
Keep it
boy
coming.
Ed Boone. Your Johnny Ive impersonation, pretty damn good.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Hilarious.
It is convincing.
I'm feeling that, Eddie. All right,
right.
there's going to be special cases that come with
And
this
here's
phone.
here's the pricing. The same
All
price
right.
as the 5, and interestingly, same price as the 5. $199 for the 16 gigs, 16 gig model, $299 for 32, and $399 for 64 on contract.
You're referencing like the current 5, right? As if it was a current phone.
That is the pricing.
Yes,
there is a
correct.
picture.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then the new cases, leather and kind of moleskin looking.
Galaxy
what?
Note 3 was doing that leather back surface. They're trying to get classy.
I
here.
know, and that leather back surface is nice.
It is. It was stitched on the sides. Where's the stitching here?
Why do you have to have a freaking case?
I want pleather.
Just make it stronger. And as Scott Stein notes, with a pastel leather case, no one will know if your iPhone is champagne or gold.
You guys, also the cases are $39 each. Pony up!
Adults do, yes, have to have a fingerprint scan at Disney and Universal Parks.
I'm not getting a pastel leather case. I might get like a brown one, though. It might look cool.
The iPhone 4S stays around. The poor iPhone 5, a perfectly good phone, gets
Gone.
just like crushed up and destroyed. The 4S stays around. The 8 gig is free on contract.
Okay.
But the 4S gets iOS 7.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it does.
As a free phone, even at 8 gigs.
That's freaking awesome.
iOS 7.
That's
that's
pretty
the
sick.
cheap
China phone.
Yeah.
You can order the 5C on the 13th, this Friday on the 20th. This is the release date. You can then purchase the 5C and the 5S. So it looks like the pre-order, they haven't mentioned a pre-order for the 5S yet, correct? Yeah, they have not mentioned a pre-order for the 5S,
Is there
but
not going to be?
on the 20th. Oh goodness, I don't want to go in those lines.
U.S. Australia.
I might
no,
have to.
God, no. So you have to get in line for the 5S. There's no pre-order.
Hold on, no. I mean, that's what it is. This
Friday,
is also
September 20th for iPhone purchase day.
Yikes.
They would have said if you could order it.
That's what I'm saying. They're also talking about the 5C. This is the first time we've been able to launch an iPhone at the start or at the other countries and in China, so we're proud of the work the team has done. So iPhone 5C will be available in multiple countries. Man,
You guys know
don't make
bigger
me go
screen?
in line.
That's so stupid. I'm
Seriously,
sorry.
I will have. I'm gonna bring my shank or something. Beecham, you wanna roll out with me?
Yeah, man.
You got a
Let's get
shank?
a tent.
iPhone 5S, iPhone 5 shank.
I love
iPhone 5 shank.
And a couple switchblades, and we'll be fine.
I love how there's always like one thing that people really, 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 really want that Apple ignores. I'm just surprised that in this case it's a bigger screen.
Right.
Like that's the thing that you're ignoring that customers have been asking you for.
I mean, I think the leaks were so
No,
apparent
man.
that I never expected to see a bigger screen at this one. So
I think it's also just to rub it in Samsung's face, you know, in some ways. Like, we can still win this thing without playing your screen game. Bastard.
I think they're
I
just
don't think you
stubborn.
could-
I think they're just stubborn.
They're stubborn. But
It's
also, I don't
the
think you could
legacy.
have a 64-bit OS architecture and OpenGL graphics and all of the things that they promised
And
to
a
keep the
bigger
battery
screen
life
and
even
keep the battery
remotely the same with that bigger
I mean,
screen,
you know, we're going to see that in the iPhone
That's
6.
the trade-off,
That's the iPhone
you know?
5, 6.
Yeah.
New design, bigger screen, and all the good stuff here.
Yeah. The next iPhones are packed with incredible technologies, he says. He's talking about how the technology is built around experience, not just the tech itself. Scott Stein says the big lurking story is the Touch ID tech and the M7 motion chip. People were speculating that the M7 motion chip is something that could talk to a smartwatch
Mhm.
if they still wanted to do, if they were still doing a watch, you could
Mhm.
kind of have this like double whammy thing. I don't know. To me, this says they're maybe not going to do the watch. But Scott says it could be the wearable tech gateway.
I mean, it also could point to the fact that their watch, whenever they release it, they want it to be a standalone device and not even not have it linked to the phone.
Also, Many versus Machine in the chat room says, we in the software ticketing industry are still annoyed by a lack of NFC.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, guys, you can use Passbook.
Kadzook says, notice how they didn't mention making phone calls at all?
Actually, I thought about
Wait,
that.
what?
Neither did Samsung for the whole Note launch.
I know, no one talks about that.
Yeah, that it's
phone calls.
It's all right.
What?
The focus apparently is on internationality. We're now looking at commercials that show the iPhone 5C in a variety of colorful situations around the world, India, Norway, Japan, etc.
All right, just a little update on our poll on our live blog. It ticked up 1% after everything's been said and done. Apple has done it again from 50 to 51%. Not impressed still stays true at 32%, and I'm happy with my Android phone, 17%. All right. Okay, not much change there.
And to Chris Griffin on Twitter, they did not mention the secondary way to unlock your phone. If you do have gloves or cases that cover up the home button or anything, I mean, you shouldn't have a case that covers up the home button. But, well, you know, if it can't read it through like one of those plastic cases, there must be a secondary method for unlocking.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably the same.
Yeah, it might just be a software
It's probably
option,
just
right?
still swipe, yeah.
I mean, the one thing that they haven't shown or they haven't done, right, Nokia and some of the other phones have the thing where the screen can actually still sense your touch through your finger. Now, you obviously can't sense your fingerprint through your through a glove unless it's amazing.
Let's see what else is happening. It looks like maybe they were about to wrap up, but they're returning to music for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we close,
Our live bloggers were starting to freak
And
out. They're
then-
like, it's only been an hour. I'm like, dude, really? I thought this was 3 hours. I brought a snack.
are they going to go to iTunes Radio?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Oh, that was the other rumor, was that iTunes Radio was going to come out again today.
Oh, like actually launch today?
Yeah, launch today. Not again.
Did they
launch
say
today?
I mean, I'm brain farting, but did they say it would launch with iOS 7, iTunes Radio, or are they holding back on it?
I don't know.
Right?
You've heard us say multiple times that music is embedded in our DNA. We love it. We love celebrating with great artists. Sometimes in the past, we've invited a musical guest to help remind us just how much we love music. We've invited a guest this morning. He's gone through great lengths to make it out here, and they're bringing out a mic stand. He is widely viewed to be one of the best singer-songwriters of our time.
Who's it going to be?
Robin Thicke.
Kanye West. Kanye West. From Chicago, by the way. Where
Elvis Costello.
I don't know, but Chris Martin is pissed because that time when he came there, it's Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Seriously, you should have gotten Kanye. Do you remember they did do Kanye years ago, and the entire audience was dead quiet? They didn't know what to do.
They
He
did?
did Gold Digger, and they like showed cutaway shots of the crowd, and they were like,
that is hilarious.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame. All right, so he's rocking his old Fender guitar.
How y'all doing? Wow, that's a lot of fancy stuff, he says. I feel underdressed. I just have my old Fender guitar. Can I say Fender in here? Et cetera, et cetera.
So while he's going off, guys, let's
do
you
some
guys have
calls.
the tweet and the hashtag CNET Live. If you tweet us at hashtag CNET Live, we want your first raw impressions of what happened here. What do you think of everything? I'm going to take a few calls. We're going to start off with Chase. Chase, what's up? Chase, you got to be here. Don't drop the ball for me. He's like, wait. They're
He's
going
like,
to call me?
whoa, what?
He's going to have to, okay. Oh, here we go. Watch. Running. He's running like a madman.
I know. He's like, go.
Knocking over the champagne.
Where's my damn phone?
They said me.
Chase, I'm going to give you 2 more seconds. If you're here, you're here.
Hello?
Here we go. He's grabbing the
Something.
phone. Chase, what's up?
No.
No.
He's got the
Sorry.
stream on.
You
it.
put
Sorry,
it down.
Chase.
Sorry,
It's too
buddy.
bad. I put him back on hold. He's just going to have to wait.
Anthony
All
on
right.
Twitter says poor iPhone 5 owners just got taken out back and shot.
Oh.
Oh, come on. That's a little
No
strong.
way.
right,
We have the special phone that doesn't exist anymore.
It looks like I've got Tristan. Tristan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for hanging out with us for the whole show. Are you having a good time?
I am. But with the new fingerprint design they have, what are they going to do with the OtterBox cases and stuff like that? Like, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, it looks like right now, thanks for calling in, Tristan. It looks like the form factor is still the same, but that whole cutout, we don't know if that specific part is a little bigger because of the space that the fingerprint sensor needs. We'll have to just slap on a case to kind of see if that works or not. If not, we're going to see differently designed cases, or at least the ones that kind of like this, not I'm pimping this, but this in-case one that fits around and leaves it exposed, those will still probably work.
The bumper style.
Yeah, bumper style, but the ones that do the whole full cover around the hole might be a little different. So we'll see.
A little bit tricky. All those expensive underwater cases that you bought and things like that probably won't. But do they ever? Do
Yeah.
they ever carry forward?
All right, here we go. We've got Tim from Frankfurt. He wants to talk to us about the fingerprint technology. He's an Apple developer. Tim, turn your volume down for me,
Turn
buddy.
your speakers down.
He's gonna get with us.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, awesome,
Hello.
Tim. Talk to us, man.
I'll make it quick because we probably don't have much time left. But so the deal is, Apple's probably not going to give developers access to the fingerprints themselves. But I don't think that it's only restricted to those 2 features either, because Apple has had the keychain since iOS 5. So basically, that means that any app can store passwords in the keychain, and they will probably bring that you can use the fingerprint to unlock your passwords saved in any app. And the other thing is the iWatch. You said earlier that you thought that you wouldn't change your bling for an iWatch. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, bro. I know what you mean.
So for me, the thing is, I wear a regular watch as something like a fancy thing, but in my everyday life, I don't regularly wear a watch. So that would be something like a replacement for me versus not wearing a watch at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's really a replacement for a lot of stuff that you would usually pull out your phone. So for example, when I play golf, I have an app that tracks how far I got with my shots through GPS, and it always takes a lot of time to pull out your phone, press the button, and so on, and keep track of everything. And that's kind of the thing, like an iPod Nano, the old one with a small square touchscreen size display. Put that into a watch, and that might be a lot of advantages.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, Tim. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it comes down to those functions. I don't want to say how lazy are you going to be to buy another piece of hardware, but there is a little bit of that,
Well, yeah, I mean,
in there.
there's
Some
always
of it, not all of it.
There's always going to be a use case for that kind of technology and for having hands-free operation with a watch that does that stuff for you.
Lazy wrist.
Lazy
use
wrist.
Use case scenario. Lazy wrist.
Use case scenario. Lazy wrist. I mean, there. You look. I truly did not believe that anybody was going to buy iPads. I still don't believe that anyone needs an iPad. But people bought them.
I love my iPad.
And now, by the
Couple
way,
people.
now I'm just saying, though,
Yeah.
now they've stopped buying them. Apparently, those sales have come to a screeching halt, judging from the last earnings call.
Until
But
October.
The security story, by the way, everybody really is working on the security story. Jason Snell has tweeted that Apple claims the Touch ID data is encrypted, lives somewhere only the sensor can access. Lots of questions about that.
All right.
News to that security. Elvis Costello apparently still playing. The CTO of Pandora just tweeted that it was not the phone or the Elvis Costello that he was hoping for.
That's what he already said.
I was like, wow, that's hard.
All right, we're going to take a call here. Kevin from West Plains. What's up, Kevin? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, what's up? What do you want to talk about?
Well, here's my question. You know, the iPhone 5S has got this fingerprint scanner.
And just a quick thing, Kev, can you hold on for
idea.
1 second quickly? We just want to tell our audience this is footage that we received from our truck and our team out there of just what inside the keynote looked like from our camera. This was pre-recorded, but we just wanted to at least play this in the background where we're talking to you so you guys can see what was happening and what they were looking at. So, we aren't going to address this, but we're going to play in the background. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Just wanted to tell our audience what was going on. But go again. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, what I was saying was I don't think it's a good idea to have this fingerprint scanner. That's my choice. I don't think it's a good idea because you know that iDevices are the most devices that are being stolen. What if we run into a problem where there's someone getting their fingers chopped off because they want to steal that iPhone 5S?
I'm not going to tell anyone, or I'm not going to tell you that I have an iPhone 5S because I want my fingers.
Also, I don't think that's going to happen unless it's like the president's iPhone. I mean, I don't think we have to worry about that so much. I actually think what is good about this, and that gets back to the caller that we had to cut off when this thing very first started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was recently in New York City like a sort of a convention. All of these state district attorneys got together to basically petition tech companies to make these phones harder to use when they're stolen because people are getting hurt, right? These are actually becoming a huge target and people are being targeted for these devices because the resale value is so high and there hasn't been enough built-in security to stop thieves from being able to use them when they steal them. Now, Apple seems to be the one company that has responded quickly. They almost immediately announced more of a remote wipe feature.
Yeah.
And now this fingerprint sensor actually does potentially brick a phone more than anything else. And also, if they were collecting fingerprints and sending them to servers, they could potentially grab the fingerprint of a thief.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not they make that
you know,
the default security option for the 5S. So, because I think that was part of how they addressed it too. Is like a lot of people, instead of doing any security seems too complicated. They'll just do a swipe to unlock. So if this is the default option and it's as easy as putting your thumb in the same place you put your thumb before, but now it reads it to unlock it, I think that's going to be a great security option for a lot of people who would otherwise not have any security on their phone.
I think it is. Yeah.
And like what we talked about before, in order for this to be a compelling reason for someone to buy this, I mean, they're going to have a great story to tell about this phone with this fingerprint scanner now. I mean, no one else really has anything like it right now, and it will be used for, good, and people are going to question what happens with all that data, but I think they've got a great story, at least to tell now.
It's new. It's a new story.
It's a new
if
story.
nothing else.
And people, it's practical.
I will say quickly that Wall Street doesn't seem impressed by the news story. The stock is basically flat, down maybe about $7.
Yeah, that typically happens though after
collective
announcements.
Shrug.
In a weird way,
They're
right?
way more interested in earnings call than announcements.
Exactly. They don't care about
But
this
like
stuff.
it's going to need my finger to unlock that phone. Let's say I'm in the shower and my wife has to answer a phone call. She's not going to need my finger. With right now, I just give her my code and she can get into my phone.
Well, to answer a call, you should just be able to swipe.
You can just swipe it to answer it.
Oh, I thought you need an actual finger to unlock the phone.
Well,
unlock it, but if the phone's ringing, I'm sure that. But these are all. By the way, that's a good point. These are all details that we'll have to work out later. It sounds like our reviewers. The good news is our reviewers are now headed into the kind of demo room, and they're going to get hands-on, fingers on.
Okay.
With these phones, so hopefully we'll have more answers to those questions very soon.
Yeah, and I did remember in the presentation they said that it could read multiple fingers. I don't know if it was, those fingers all have to belong to the same person, or if maybe a whole, family could have their
family
fingers.
of fingers.
A family of fingers.
Fingers.
So maybe your wife's fingers could be input on the device too, as someone who can unlock the phone with their finger.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we don't know all the nitty-gritty details, so that's what's going to kind of flesh out in the next few days. Thanks for calling. We will take another call. Let's go over here with James from Austin. What's up, James? We're going to try you.
Hey, this is James. How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing? What did you think of the announcement? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm an Apple fanboy. I've had every phone you can think of. I stood in line for every one of them here in Austin, and I just was not impressed. Personally, I just think that the leather casing behind the cases of $39 was stupid because, you can't see the phone. And, you paid all this money for the phone and then you can't see it, And then the other thing, I'm concerned about the battery life because I use my phone a lot. And I have a battery case over it because I have to use my phone. And not knowing it's being, it said the standby time being from 225 to 250, that tells me it's not much of a jump.
Exactly.
So I'm just concerned about that even though it's 64-bit and all that great stuff, but at the same time, I want the phone to last longer. And so I'm just concerned about that. I just talked to a friend. I even put on the Facebook, if I don't see anything, I'm going to have to switch. And it's sad, but I just don't see enough innovation for me to really want to go stand in line again for the 8th time to get an iPhone 5S.
So, James, are you telling us right now, are you making a confession to the world that you'll be switching your next phone?
I'm going to pray about that.
I knew it! I knew it because guess what? You're going to see that dual-tone LED flash. You're going to be that processor is faster, and I don't care. I knew it, James. I had to ask you the hard questions.
That, by the way, James, that is the best answer I've ever heard in my entire life. Well done.
No, you're keeping it real, James. But I think, I think it's one of those things where you're disappointed about some things. You do like some things, but it's not. I really feel like now these days it's hard to find the perfect phone for you. Like there's always things you're gonna love or hate.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're not alone. But I think that the whole battery life issue is that point was probably the biggest one that so many users are clamoring about. And you're not alone. So I think if we asked everyone, do they care about battery life like you do, they'll all say yes. So thanks for calling, James. We appreciate it, bro.
Thank you. Good luck with your decision. One note, the iPhone 5C, we do have a little pricing update on the off-contract pricing, in case you were wondering.
It was never mentioned.
The C stands for color, because it don't stand for cheap. It is $549 off contract for the 16 gig version.
Off contract.
Off contract. Your cheap, unlocked, off contract iPhone is not here today, says Scott Stein.
Yeah.
That's Elvis Costello's closing song. Your cheap, unlocked, off contract.
I'd like to see how he wrote that one up.
And he's still playing.
He's still playing right now,
He's still going. They're getting a full concert over there. We're just like, but you know what? We're here with you.
We're always here with you guys. Come on. We don't mess around.
You.
All right, let's go take a peek at some of the tweets that all you guys have been sending in just about the iPhone 5S announcement. Here we go. Ray K letting us know 5S. What happened to my browser? Here we go. 5S bombed out S4 rules. CNET Live, who's going around having fingers chopped off? Screen your callers. That's probably a good point.
Yeah, if anyone was trying to chop off my finger to steal my phone, I would take a moment to explain to them how unnecessary that is.
Timothy Lydell says Apple site is back up and iTunes Radio still says coming soon, so there's no confirmation that it will be launching with the release of iOS 7, which they did say will be coming out free to users September the 18th. As far back as iPhone 4,
That's right.
iPad 2, latest iPod Touch are the compatible devices. So there you go.
I'd like to know, I wish our editors could hear us right now, but when they're in there, what I'd like to know is whether you can, and thanks to Gamer Geek No Life for your tweet on this, the fingerprint sensor, and this gets back to our caller's question, allow for multiple accounts? So you could actually do user account switching, like you could have sort of profiles on your phone that were finger specific. So your kid could have a profile to keep them from ever being able to buy anything on the App Store.
As much as I want that feature, I think that they would really have spent some time to explain that one if they had that.
But you know what? To your point also, though,
maybe it could happen.
They did say, and people have confirmed this on Twitter that are hashtagging us at CNET Live, just by the way, that it does support multiple fingers.
Right.
So who knows? At least it does multiple fingers. Is it the same person, a different person? Because if it did store multiple fingers, like you said, it may not have to necessarily be used as a profile. We don't know this again. But maybe it says you choose an unlock privilege and that you can scan specific fingers that allow you to unlock it. That just might be what it comes down to. We don't know.
Yeah.
So
I remember when the first iPad came out, the first round of wild speculative rumors about what it could do, there was a rumor that the iPad was going to be able to use its front-facing camera to do facial recognition and switch user accounts based on what face it saw.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that as awesome as that sounded, that never
No,
never got
yes.
implemented.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I really do think we're at a point now in the maturity of this product where multiple accounts on iOS devices makes sense.
It should be obvious, actually. I mean, they have already, I think, gotten sued over the ease of. That's why they put passwords into the buying.
Yep. All right. So it
there
looks
we
like
go.
we're wrapped up. The music performance is done. Our editors are going to be in a demo room. I think what we'll do here is we'll just pound through these next few phone calls, just kind of do a little more wrap up, hear what you guys have to say, your thoughts, and then you guys can obviously hang out at CNET.com. We'll have tons of analysis, first looks, hands-ons. But let's just kind of, you guys want to crank through these?
Let's do
I
it.
mean, and by pound through them, I mean I'm going to give them all of my attention. And
attention and
of course,
careful
of course,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
One thing while we're doing this, if you still are on our live blog, we have one last poll that we want you guys to participate in. I have it on my screen. We're asking you, how do you feel about Apple after this event? The two options: Apple is still the leading innovator. The other option: Apple is trailing behind. So that's
pretty.
That's fire.
Black and white, right?
I know.
All right.
The middle stuff isn't as fun.
I guess so.
I will say that Apple stock continues to trend downward. I think that developing markets are really disappointed with the iPhone 5C pricing.
Good point. All right.
As well they should be.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. We're going to try this again. Chase, I'm going to give you one more chance.
Oh, honey.
Chase, there you go. Turn down the volume of your computer. I got you on the phone. Let's go. Before I drop you. What's up, Chase? What do you want to talk about?
I was going to want to talk about, will y'all doing an Apple iPhone 5S drop?
Do you want to do iPhone 5S drop test? Drop test.
Oh, drop test.
I mean, it's the same as the iPhone 5. I mean, I guess.
Exactly. With and without the case, I think, is the key.
Yeah.
Just make it tougher. I don't want a case. Phones shouldn't have cases anymore.
I would like to see an iPhone 5C versus iPhone 5S drop test.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be
interesting because plastic
seeing which
is
one's tougher.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, if you're paying less for a tougher phone.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Yeah.
Good.
Nods all around.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to John. What's up, John? John is outside. He's holding on to the wing of a plane. We're gonna go back to you, John. I'm sorry. You gotta step up, boy. All right, let's go to Asav. Asav, what's going on?
Hey, so I was watching your live blog. It's awesome.
We know, isn't it? Thank you.
Really,
we know.
Really wasn't impressed by the iPhone 5S.
Because?
I mean, they really didn't do too much. I mean, okay, a fingerprint sensor, great. I mean, more security. But I don't know. You guys mentioned earlier that there's probably, they've already got stuff going on. I mean, security is a big thing, but it's really just for, I think it's just more for, like, businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I
really
think,
didn't feel it.
I agree. I think what you got, right, if you break it down, you either
Break it
really
down,
want
Molly.
the fingerprint scanner
or
you don't. Other than that, despite however you want to phrase it, you got a faster phone with better graphics performance, which you always get when you get a new phone. And
Exactly.
then you got the exact same form factor, the exact same screen size, an improved camera, which you always get, the same battery life, and the only kind of like brand new thing is this fingerprint scanner. So if you don't care about that, then you just got like a newer device.
Right.
Which is the same thing you're going to always get. You know what I mean? So I do think I can see where you're coming from in terms of feeling a little bit let down.
Exactly.
'Cause
And,
it
I
just
think
is what it
the biggest thing, and which they've already announced before, which I'm looking forward to, I have the iPhone 5, is iOS 7. Really, but that's even, again, you guys have already mentioned this, but I'm just going to reiterate it. It's lagging behind. I mean, this is what they should have done maybe a version ago. Android's done it. It's something that should have been there.
I mean, I'm going to agree. I totally agree with you on that, but they're going to have to catch up sooner or later. The fact is it's better that they're still not doing the same thing that they did before. I think that once, I don't know if you're using it or not. If you're using it, I wasn't sold on it at first, but I do like it a lot more than I ever liked iOS 6.
iOS 7 is going to be the only differentiator, right? That's going to be the thing that makes the phone feel new or not feel new, and I would like to see
Unless
that in
64-bit is
action.
amazing on what it can do with like the the in-house apps.
But are you really going to notice it that much? Like, you're going to notice that it's faster, right? I mean, it's sort of like once you get to the point where your computer is fast enough that it can do absolutely everything you want it to, those incremental speed updates, it almost starts to feel like 64 bits, like 4K.
Yeah, I like it. And like I said
sure,
before,
it's better.
I'm more excited to see that feature trickle over to an iPad than to see it really working on the iPhone.
From like a perspective standpoint of like the 4 to 4S to the 5 to the 5S,
yeah,
I think though this is still a way bigger jump. Like when
Yeah.
you look at the 4S, when the 4 had and what the 5 has, and that it's a bigger jump. And so I'm just saying from my perspective, like I had the 4, I wasn't impressed by the 4S at all. I skipped getting the 4S. Normally, whatever, Apple Bites, Showboy, whatever you got, I was like compelled to upgrade my phone just to keep up with it. But there was nothing in the 4S that compelled me to do it, right?
The 4S was a different time. I felt like the 4S came and like the excuse we all gave Apple was that they didn't have to do anything amazing because they were at the top of their game.
Exactly.
The Galaxy S3 did not exist yet. It was still like it was Apple. It was so out in front of everybody else that they could coast a little bit. And I feel like this time around, it's like they're not in that same position. They're playing catch up. They're clawing their way just to get the camera features up to what the competitors are doing. They're putting 64-bit out there as their way to kind of inch the game forward a little bit. But it's going to be not even a year before some other competitor is going to come out with something that they're going to trump as being as good as or not better than 64-bit.
And Apple presumably then is going to wait another year to put out the 6, which will be their big one. Like they're still forcing the consumer to buy into this idea that it's okay, essentially, to do a phone and then a year later do an incremental upgrade to that phone and then a year after that do a really cool phone.
Yeah.
And that's like, listen, you don't have that kind of time. Like, you are under the gun, and Windows Phone will catch up. Those phones are getting better and better and better. The app support is starting to be there. Android is already outselling iPhone. I mean, I think there's a lot in this phone to like. I don't know if that paradigm of an S in between is going to continue to work if you don't, I will say, though, that the one thing they did do, at least here, is give people way more options. So the 5S isn't the only phone we have to talk about. You can still talk about the 5C as a cheaper option or just an alternative that feels like a new thing, but it doesn't do anything amazing. It's going to be about people getting hands-on, playing with iOS 7 and telling that iOS 7 story. Because I think Google has done a really good story, especially with the Moto X, of telling the story about all of the powerful things that Android can do with the kind of contextual search and contextual awareness.
But are people buying the Moto X? I mean, honestly?
Well, they're buying Android phones, though, and they're buying that Google story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, honestly, I'd just come out and say it. I like the 5. I like what I saw on the 5S. Sure, didn't get a new design, but I do, from someone who, is kind of behind this whole idea of turning your phone into a wallet, and, right, like you said earlier, it's going to come down to, do you really want that fingerprint scanner or not? And is that something that interests you? I mean, to me, I think it's cool.
I think it's totally cool.
No, but to the point, I'm gonna definitely do a switch because I like that one. I didn't do the switch from the 4 to 4S though.
Yeah.
And so, just for the record, just so people you upgrade every phone. I'm like, no, I don't upgrade every phone.
You gotta justify it.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool, but at the end of the day, I want a bigger screen. That is a bigger screen and a better battery. To me, are the two things that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to upgrade to a phone that doesn't have those two things just because it has this other thing. And I think that there are probably other people feeling that. Just a note, by the way, from our editor-in-chief, Lindsay Turrentine, that the site is having some instability. So if you are on the live stream, please have some patience for page loads when you're trying to check out maybe news stories about it. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But just FYI, we know.
We're on
Thank you.
We're working on it.
I think the reality also is that because I got the HTC One specifically for a big screen phone, it's I'm able to actually have that experience. Now, if it was my single dedicated phone, do I want a bigger screen? I've always wanted a bigger screen, right?
I want a bigger screen. I want a bigger screen and a better battery, and I will happily give up a fingerprint sensor, which I've never had and don't need, in order to get those two things.
And you will probably get that next year.
I probably will.
Yeah.
Or you'll get that in 3 months from another company.
I might get that in January at CES, right? I mean, its fingerprint sensor technology is not new, and it's probably pretty easy to integrate.
Well, I think the thing that's tough to remember is that outside of the people in this room and everyone who would be calling into our show, a lot of people, once they're invested in both apps and media on a particular platform, they're not as likely to be a dual phone kind of person. I'm going to have both Android and iOS. They're going to pick their team, and as long as that Apple keeps pushing it and keeps at least providing something that's inching along, even if it's not going by the same leaps and bounds, it's still profitable for Apple in a way that is not the same formula for what Samsung or any other cell phone manufacturer does, because they own every part of that whole equation. They own the apps, they own the operating system, they own the media, they own the books, they own everything you're doing with that phone software inside and out. And so just retaining customers, even if they're losing some share, they're getting so much more money from those customers than Samsung is getting from any of their Galaxy.
I mean, it's totally understated. Yeah. Go ahead.
That is why I don't think that Tim Cook is feeling the pressure, right? Back to that conversation before about what is Tim Cook doing and is he innovating and whatever. I mean, I can totally sit here and say I'm not that impressed or whatever, but Apple's fine.
Yeah.
They're still going to sell a ton of these phones. They don't. I mean, I think the lie is that Apple needs to innovate this much. They really don't. People are still going to want to buy these phones, and they're going to buy them. And like you say, they're going to make a massive profit on them, and they're going to continue to sit on a huge stockpile of cash. Like, at the end of the day, it's us, right? The only thing you can change, you guys, is you. We need to change our expectations about how much we need to change our expectations about how much you either can or need to innovate on a smartphone right now, because smartphones, while they're approaching a tipping point, not everybody has one. People are still in the market for them. They're still evolving. They haven't completely plateaued, but they're really close. So you're never going to see something in a smartphone that's going to make you go like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I think that's...
But that doesn't mean Apple should do some dumb watch.
That's why there's such the emphasis now on wearable technology and Google Glass and watches and all of that, whether or not it's justified. It's because people, I think, know instinctively that there's only so much more we can do with the smartphone, that we need to start spreading out to other devices that are just starting out, so you can get that buzz of like a device rapidly going through its development cycle.
And we still, we still kind of underestimate, because we're so used to hearing it all the time here, the ecosystem, the power that ecosystem really has, is the fact that even when you're trying multiple devices out, there's people that are like, I want an Android device, but how much music and movies and all that stuff have you bought on your Apple device? And are they happy enough with what they have? Yeah, they may still want an Android phone, but their dollars and cents have been locked into this Apple ecosystem that keeps them there.
Yeah, and it goes both ways.
Is good, and if the device is good enough and they still have all their content there, that is also one of those hooks that Apple has been able to get into. And it's hard really to be like, I'm going to leave $500+ of media that I've invested in, and typically a lot more than that even.
Right. But I feel like Apple, if they could actually, and I was kind of excited to see that today, which they didn't do, with the 5C, is that if they really wanted to, they could come out with the iPhone free, like a new iPhone free, not just that 8 gigabyte
iPhone 5S.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
the
I
iPhone
agree.
5 free. And they would still make so much money off of those customers by in just app and music purchases and all that.
I think that, to me, that is the biggest disappointment of all, or the biggest surprise, that they just cannot find. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise because they've never tried. They've never tried to find a way to make a cheaper phone.
Yeah.
Or a cheaper device of any sort. But the fact is, they have now released a device that is still off limits to a lot of the developing world, and I think that's missing out on a big market. And honestly, if there's a big letdown, it's not in the fact that the 5S, just like the 4S, is an incremental. I mean, you could take issue with that strategy, but it shouldn't be a surprise that a 5S, like a 4S, is a slightly incremental upgrade, even though it's a good increment, according to Brian. The surprise to me is that they continue to ignore the rest of that developing global market by not making a cheap phone. Like that's an interesting long-term strategic decision that could leave them more vulnerable.
I mean, in their mind, the iPhone 5C is their cheap phone.
I don't think so. $549. No way.
Well, no,
like
I mean, global,
$549 unlocked is the exact same price as every smartphone everywhere. And by the way, can we get a little expose into that weird pricing scam? Because $549 has been the price of like an unlocked Trio in like 2004. Like $549 is clearly the agreed upon amount of money
that
people pay for phones that will never change. And it is obviously a scam.
Here we go. Here's the promo video of just some of the announcements, the iPhone 5S stuff.
Let's compare it to your impression here. Let's fire this up.
Enhances the user's experience.
I'm pretty good.
This care, this consideration.
It's like he's doing an impression of Brian Todd's impression.
It's
of
more,
that.
yes. It's the rhythm. It's the rhythm. It's not even the accent. It's more the rhythm and delivery. So you guys want to hit through these phone calls and wrap it up? Are we good with that?
Sure.
All right. Should we just nail these phone calls?
Although I like, getting the Molly rant going. Too.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, she's
Be
on
in the
fire.
presence of
Was I ranting?
Yeah, it was good.
But we didn't get the sound. It's okay. We know what's up. All right, let's go to William. William, what's up?
Hey, what's up? quick question. I didn't hear anything about the megapixel size about the camera.
Neither did we.
Yeah.
Nope, they didn't say it.
They didn't say it. They just talked about the improvements of the lens.
They said the sensor was larger by some degree, which meant for more information be able to pack into the existing
And larger
pixels. But
I think we can safely infer from that the camera remains 8 megapixels.
Yeah,
but they
Okay, 'cause
didn't
that's the
say.
problem I'm going to have going to it, because now I have a Galaxy 4. I haven't had an iPhone since 4S because the 5s weren't good out the door. I went through 2 of them in a week, so I just went to the Galaxy line, and I absolutely love the camera on my 4, so that's going to be a problem. If the camera got better, maybe I could get over the fact that the phone didn't get bigger, but I don't know now.
Yeah.
I think even with cameras, we're after this year, we're going to hit a place where we're no longer really going to be able to make a marked improvement on camera quality. I mean, I think we're seeing those cameras that are trying to leap out, or like the Sony like lens, attachment system, or the Galaxy Zoom, like those super like kind of if they mated phone cameras.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think people are going to get to a point where it's going to be in a good enough world, the same way a lot of the other phone features we've been dealing with.
They hit that point, that maturity point where what else are you going to do?
Basically.
All right. Thanks for calling, William. Just wanted to let you guys know what our poll about Apple's event, what it's saying. It's really close. It's pretty much neck and neck. 54% say Apple's still the leading innovator. 48% says Apple is trailing behind. So that probably wasn't the case maybe, a year ago? It might have been tilted a lot, but it looks like it's a 50 split. And then now that I tell that, people are going to try and change that.
Right.
Change
Let's
how
prove
that
him
skews.
wrong.
All right, let's go take up another phone. What's up,
Before we
Molly?
do, real quick, Jessica Dolcourt says that she just talked to Scott Stein from inside the demo room, and he says you can pick fingers and use multiple IDs, that it can store
great.
the multiple IDs, and it sounds like it is for multiple people,
Mhm.
which could answer our profile question, which someone alluded to earlier, which is cool.
All right, awesome. Everyone's been asking about that, so
Yeah.
we're good.
Yep.
All right, cool.
There you go.
There you go, Jim. What's up, Jim?
Hi, this is Jimmy in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. What's up, Jimmy?
I just wanted to say I like your show. So the iPhone C, what, does it live under the water or something?
The
Fucking
iPhone
home
C.
run, Jimmy.
It
Fucking
lives under
home
the
run.
sea.
Under the water.
Cut him off.
No,
Cut him
it's all
off.
good. His question was, why did they discontinue the iPhone 5? Well,
Right.
they broke up the lines into two things. There you go.
That was he had a question?
I don't know.
No.
I think he was trying to have fun at first. I mean,
I think it was a good piece of stoner humor that devolved quickly.
Into the dirty word.
all right. Let's go check out Matt in Chicago. Matt, what's up? Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Hey. I was just wondering what you guys think LifeProof is going to do now that it seems like it's going to be impossible to make a waterproof case for a fingerprint scanner.
Well, that's an interesting point.
That
you
is
know,
an interesting point.
We talked about what we don't know in the software, if they're going to give you an option to still use just the regular unlock screen. I've got to imagine they will. Like, would they force you with the 5S
No, I
to
think
only use
it's
the
just
fingerprint?
going to be one of several security
Yeah.
features
You know?
for the phone.
They can't force you. That just doesn't make sense.
So, I mean,
and
I
there's
see
disabilities
they
to consider.
didn't, they didn't address that in the keynote, but I see where you're coming from. We think that they'll probably give you at least options to do that. So, you have those super industrial, waterproof, and like you said, the LifeProof cases that, cover some of that up. I think that they'll be okay. So, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, how many people, though, do you think are going to give up the biggest feature of the new iPhone just to have a waterproof case?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think you
that's-
could temporarily go with a different security feature while you're underwater, shooting pictures of squid.
With your dual
you wouldn't,
dual
yeah,
tone
you
flash.
wouldn't want one of those permanent coatings, but you could definitely have a case that is situational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, man. All right. We have a couple more calls left. We got Talon. Talon's back.
Oh, hey, Talon.
Talon, I'm
Yay,
so sorry.
You're back.
We told you we'd take care of you, Talon. What's up?
Okay, well, I have enough money to buy the iPad 4, the 4th generation, the 64 gigabyte one. But I was wondering, when do you think the iPad 5th generation might come out?
Wait. Do not use your money. Wait, because
Yeah.
strong indications point to we're going to hear something about the iPad line in October, which is basically a month away. So
Yeah.
save that money.
I think that Scott Stein's point was this feels like part one of a two-part fall Apple event. So we're probably going to see the second part of this
Apple's just trying to bring down the hammer and make as much money as they can.
Because we
during
didn't
the
hear
holiday
anything
season.
about.
I mean,
we heard
really,
nothing about
that's
Apple
the
TV
story.
updates or iPad updates or iPod updates, any of that.
Yeah. So, Talon, I would definitely wait on that, and best be served to wait. All right.
Okay. Now, also, like, do you think that they might include like a fingerprint scanner or a whole bunch of other extras that the iPhone 5 has?
Yeah.
We're watching the presentation. It's super cool.
You mean to the iPhone 5S or the
Into
iPad?
the new iPad.
To the new
I mean,
You mean the
5S,
iPad?
Yeah.
The iPad?
I do think so.
Yeah, to the iPad 4. I mean, 5.
I would say so. Historically, it's like we probably see like the fingerprint sensor, but maybe not all of the camera features. Usually, they kind of hold back on the camera features for the iPad, just to let the iPhone kind of have that halo for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would think so. I think going back to Molly's point about multiple user profiles potentially coming to the iPad, I feel like the iPad more than any other device would really be served by a fingerprint reader feature that puts you into different profiles for family members.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if it's not in the new iPad.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to move this technology forward too, so it'd be a little silly if it wasn't, but we'll see. So thanks for calling, Town. Thank you for calling back. Oh, what, you want another one?
So
The triple threat? You got 3 questions.
He took time off of school.
What is it called? The Unicode of Death or something?
Sorry, go ahead again. I'm sorry.
The Arabic letter string, that crashes the Apple stuff.
Do you think it'll be able to do the same thing with iOS 7?
Yeah, you think they fixed that in iOS 7?
I hope they do. I hope they
I think
do.
they're gonna fix that. Yep.
All
That'd
right.
be my guess.
Thanks, Talon. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it. All right.
Quick news update again about the fingerprint reader authentication. Sounds like iPhone developers will not get access to use a fingerprint as a means of authentication. So for right now, that will unfortunately for all that mobile payment speculation, at least right now, that is an option that Apple plans to firmly control. They're going to keep their finger on that one.
I mean, it is their technology that they want to,
They also reiterate.
Or license.
They also probably reiterated that they won't be storing fingerprints on servers.
Okay.
On any Apple servers.
All right, we have the last call of the day before we wrap things up. John, I'm going to give you another chance. John, are you there?
I am.
Yes. John, what's up? How can we help you out?
So I was curious. Molly said earlier talking about how that Apple's coming out, putting the fingerprint stuff in the 5S, and what about the 5C? Like, is that going to get any love, or is that just kind of their way of cleaning up and making more money?
Well, I think it was they pretty made it clear that there's 2 separate phones, and the 5C did not show any indication of getting the fingerprint sensor. We kind of talked about it earlier, how, from a price point standpoint, would we expect to see the same exact tech from the 5S and the 5C? And we really didn't. From a camera feature standpoint, we didn't see that. Processor standpoint, we didn't see that. And fingerprint scanner, we didn't see that. And that's going to, really help differentiate the line. And the 5C is more of a replacement to what the 5 was, just with colors.
Which makes, by the way, a lot less sense since it's not cheaper. It's cheaper. I mean, it's cheaper on contract.
You were saying so that it's supposed to help out security, but if people who, most likely people who are going to be in lower income areas are going to be buying the 5C, where there's going to be higher crime, and those people aren't going to have security on their phones.
Yeah, think of the 5C as basically the new 5.
Yeah.
It's just the iPhone 5. So they're not trying to say it's like a new, with the same price.
Just a way to get people to buy another phone with colors.
Buy more things.
For sure.
Guys, the feel-good era is over. Like, the thing that Steve Jobs did is make you feel like he loved you, and he didn't. And he made a lot of money off you. And now this is the era where there's not as much of a reality distortion field. So you really feel it that what they really want to do is make a lot of money off you.
So since it's also $550 off contract, do you think that kind of completely does away with any prepaid phone option?
I guess so.
I guess for now. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, the other problem with investing in the 5C right now is that if you're going to go to your contract, you're going to miss out on what is going to be probably the more awesome iPhone 6 next year. So it's a tough phone to buy.
Also, what do you think about all the new phone providers and their kind of fast upgrade plans playing into all this?
Oh, yeah, the fact that you can now kind of jump, instead of wait 2 years, you can kind of jump ahead and upgrade your phone?
Yeah, like the Verizon Edge program and AT&T's and all the
Yeah.
different ones.
I mean, I'm sure Apple's delighted by that because it makes it easier for them to put out a new phone every year without everybody howling that they're ruining their contract situation.
Yeah.
It's good news for Apple. It's good news for
Well,
anybody.
all the phone manufacturers are stoked about that.
Yeah.
So.
Also, a quick shout out to Molly. I used to listen to you on Buzz That Loud a long time ago.
Oh, back in the time, like even pre-Brian Tong?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's all. That's when I stopped listening.
Oh, come
That's
on.
when I stopped listening. Right on, John. Okay, guys, thanks for calling. So, yeah, I mean that pretty much wraps things up here. You guys can continue to check out all of our coverage at CNET.com. If you have any questions, you can tweet us directly. Molly Wood at Molly Wood.
That's right.
Donald at Donald. He's secured at Donald. That is
So
Twitter
amazing.
name.
I killed a man.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you chop his fingers off?
No, it was just to watch
Just
him
for
die.
fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
just for fun. All right, I'm Brian at Brian Tong. Stephen Beecham is Stephen Beecham.
It's been a pleasure. Thank
And
you guys
seriously,
for
we got to
watching.
give Stephen major props. He runs this show on his own.
Yep.
You guys got to recognize.
You're amazing.
You know what? If you know what we're talking about, you know what we're
It's
talking
fun.
about.
I love doing it. Thanks, guys, for watching.
And
Yeah.
I love you too.
Oh, I love you too, Brian.
Thanks.
Creepy
Appreciate
way,
it.
creepy way to end the show. All right.
All right, guys. We are good. So make sure to stay locked into CNET.com.
That's that, mattress man.
Boom.
Oh.
Probably next month, we'll see you again at another event. Honestly.
Yep.
October. Get
Can't
your
wait.
iPads ready. Talk iPad talk.
Champagne iPads.
I hope they give us a booze-related cue for that one, too.
We're drunk. We're not. All right, guys. We'll see you next
Bye.
time. All right. We'll see you.